looks like we're live, and it looks like it's time to shuck and jive. It is the Shuck and Jive Day. It's a federal holiday here, Fifth. Do you guys have Juneteenth where you guys live?
Well, guys, what do you mean by that? By you guys? That sounds a bit racist to me. Yes, welcome back, chat, and a very, very happy Juneteenth to you all, where we celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation, elucidation, and edification of the black community. The time where we was freed from slavery and free to roam the United States in search of pineapple spears and fried pickles. Hallelujah! Truly a holiday worth celebrating and enshittification and jivification and all the kinds of there's long words that I can pronounce but not really understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you guys, the black community, such as you guys are responsible for a lot of inventions, like the recently the AIDS pickle. So, don't know what we would have done without that. Thank you for that. Didn't ask for it, didn't want it, but you're doing something. It's like getting a macaroni necklace from a child. Yeah, thanks there, Rusty. Thanks for that. Thanks for that little invention you had there. That's nice.
Is that like a real thing? Like on World AIDS Day or something like that, they make like a giant pickle in the name of AIDS.
If it was popular and shiny, they'd take credit for it, Fist. I don't know. I don't know how they decide upon these things. I don't know what their congregation is. They all decide on it. I just love how they have 75 different words for the word gun. So they make up new words, but like not new concepts. I think that seems to be like a differentiating factor between us and them, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, actually, I have been exploring this concept on clown-based life forms.
Yes.
There's a new episode out actually last night. You guys should check it out. If you want to. We're sort of developing this kind of like unified theory of like cargo cult shapes, I guess you'd call it, right? Where like everything is essentially like a callback to the cargo cult, and no matter how technologically advanced these communities get, at heart, it's still the cargo cult. It's still this sort of like magical.
They're not advancing past the concept. They're making up different words and verbiage, but the concept always seems to remain.
Yeah, well, that's right. It doesn't really change. Like despite all of the sort of wonders of modern society, it always like goes back to these like sort of like fundamental archetypes, right? This idea, you get from like the Yakub myth, for example, that all of the wonders,
a myth. You're gonna call that a myth on?
Yeah, well,
on their special day that was made by Moose. Really, you're gonna call that a myth on their day?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm spicy like that. I'm swinging from the fences. This idea that all of the fruits of Western civilization, because I've got this theory basically that this essentially Gibbs are like the heart of ninjadom, right? Like it's a deep sort of prehistoric process, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And essentially the religion is that the Gibbs are inside all of them, right? It is merely the white man that has denied them the eternal Gibbs. And if they could just simply like unlock the right shapes inside themselves, the Gibbs would be ever flowing. Although in this situation, I'm not exactly sure who's supposed to be doing the gibbing. Perhaps the gods, or if you examine the cargo cult thing, right? Like there are basically just gib planes that come from heaven and drop gibs upon the population, sort of like a never-ending fountain of gibs that never runs out.
Now, what do you think the Vegas odds are? What do you think the odds are that you and Aaron as individuals are putting much more thought into this than the entire community combined? What do you think the odds of that are?
Look, I don't know, man. I mean, like, if you look at the what I like to call the Yakub cinematic universe, because there's like the original Yakub, and then there's like the expanded cinematic universe, right? They clearly thought quite deeply about this, but because they're somewhat, how do I put this delicately, lacking in technical know-how, right? It's like when someone of a middling intelligence tries to write an intelligent character, and they can't, right? It's like if you got your like sort of basic sort of Freud author at the moment who tried to like write Sherlock Holmes, but they don't have the necessary intellect in order to write Sherlock Holmes. So it just comes out as like incoherent. So no, it's not that they don't think about it. It's just that they don't really understand the sort of like deeper concepts behind it.
Right. So like when I used to have a dog, like it would put thought into dragging its ass on the carpet. I mean, technically, right? It's technically thinking. So when you're saying they're like putting thought into it, it's like, yeah, technically, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we would equate that to thoughts.
No.
They seem to be being graded on a curve right now.
No. It's more like, right, your dog puts thought into doing the things that make you give it treats, okay? But it has no knowledge of the manufacturing process by which these treats were manufactured. You get what I'm saying? Right? Like, so for it, right, the treat just appears in your cupboard and you are the mediator between it and the treats. Okay, and the cargo cult thing is basically like that.
And when the dog's barking, it's saying Gibbs.
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
right. So the cargo cult is basically like that, right? There's no understanding of factories or industrial processing or energy infrastructure or like any of that like shit that you need to like make a civilization. Yeah. There is merely the black man, the receiver of the rightful receiver of the Gibbs.
Yeah, I guess.
And the white man. Who will not allow the Gibbs to flow to the black man. And that's what Juneteenth is all about, basically.
Right. I guess really the main difference is that dogs are able to actually lick their own dicks, which we would be saved a lot of grief if the blacks could do that. That would dial down so much of the turmoil in society. They were actually able to be, self-sufficient for their own hedonism, I suppose. But dogs won, blacks none on that one, I guess.
I don't know, mate. Like, I mean, can you really grape yourself? Is the question.
Yeah,
where's the chase, right? Where's the screams? Where's the oh no, I'm fucking sad.
I just think it's kind of racist for you to call it grape when referring to them. We all understand they like grape Kool-Aid fist, but come on, this is a serious act that we're going to be talking about today. All right?
Yes. Well, if you looked into the birth of grape Kool-Aid, you would find it was highly non-consensual, actually.
Yeah, when we say grape, we just mean eating grape spears. Eating
right.
Grape Kool-Aid spears. They get raped again.
Yeah.
Light each other up with grapes.
Oh, this whole grape gang thing is, oh my god, it's like horrible. Don't you
think it's more horrible? Don't you think it's more horrible for those that went through it? And a lot of people, unfortunately, are just finding out about this. You and I have known about this for a while.
Yeah.
And so, I don't want to go through any gruesome details, right? But just to see how, heartless the left is. This is why I always really have been drawn toward Andrew Wilson, because his guiding light is he hates the left. He hates the left, and he'll never work with them, and they are the absolute worst. And we see that even with the quote-unquote moderate left. It doesn't exist. It's incredible. These people are, like, purely politically motivated. And so, like, we have to also be politically driven to combat them. But I love the Lindsayite idea that, like, we somehow become them if we're also being political in any way. Only they get to be 100% purely political. We have to,
Well, look, Ardy, right? What you really need to do is shut your mouths, right? Mm-hmm. Stop doing anything, right? And to wait for the pearls of wisdom to fall from Lindsay's lips, right? Like, what are you, like, what, you think you're a creature with agency, right? You're like, no. Lindsay, he has the agency. He'll tell you what to think, man, right? It's safer that way.
He also has the best questions, like what we're going to cover today, where is Bolshevism really mooish? And guess what? Guess what? They weren't all mooish, but let me give you a little teaser right now, and you haven't even listened to this. So this
Wait, before we go into this, right? I have a
teaser.
Juneteenth.
No. I'm not going to play it right now. It's just a teaser that he's actually going to go into the proportionality of it, and he's going to be like, okay, well, so that's disproportionate, and okay, well, so that's disproportionate. Because as you know, he doesn't do any research before he does it. He flies blind every time.
So he's fully ensnared in phase 2 at this point, is what you're saying?
You'll have to. You can tell me that when
right.
that comes up.
Okay. So wait, are you teasing Lindsay, or should I go on?
No,
to the...
you can go. No, we gotta do Juneteenth first. It is their day. I really don't care about it. Like it's the first time that we've had a federal holiday where everyone's like, why do we have today off? Like everyone. The other holidays, traditionally in my life, we go, oh, that's the point of Columbus Day and that's the point of Veterans Day and stuff like that. No one understands this day, and it's a federal holiday. I don't know why the Trump administration can't do the same thing, where like let's have our like right wing holidays. Why can't? What does it take to get a federal holiday put through? It's incredible.
Yeah, like was we look, I just want parity.
Taking up space,
right? Like why can't like whites also have their own day? Also, chat, is my mic coming through all right? I've been fiddling with it. It's been like weird. I would appreciate if chat can like tell me. Right. So this, of course, when I'm not watching YouTube, right?
Yes.
I'm watching Denver's Channel 7, right? Actually.
You're really acclimating to the United States culture
Absolutely.
by watching local television from states that you are not currently in.
Correct. No, well, mate, like can't do better than Denver's Channel 7, mate. Right? Like, come on, okay. And they're here, as a foreigner, it's great to have Juneteenth be explainified to me. Of course, the whites they do not understand suffering, so they need to have it explicafied to them.
Juneteenth celebrations bring people together around music, community, and reflection, but food also plays a powerful role.
Juneteenth celebrates June 19th, 1865, the day enslaved people in Galveston, Texas learned they were free, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was issued.
The celebrations that followed included traditions and food that we love today. Culinary historian Adrian Miller, also known as the Soul Food Scholar, walked Denver 7's Mike Smith through that history.
Today,
the Soul Food Scholar. You know what I'm saying?
This feels prejudiced. This feels like someone should get in trouble in the UK for doing this.
What, you never been to the Blazing Chicken Shack? It's a fine establishment. I totally recommend.
we are at the Blazing Chicken Shack, and we're talking about Juneteenth. What do you think about just the idea of food, yet again, being such a central part of a celebration and a part of Black culture and the people, especially during this time of emancipation?
Yeah. So their emancipation celebration is what they're called. So Juneteenth is one of those.
Pause
so
it.
The early celebrations.
So, I mean, I trust this guy. This guy's clearly from the hood and did not grow up in a white suburb, okay? This guy is as hood as it gets right now.
Absolutely.
Were a mix of reverence, usually hosted by a church. So there'd be sermons, there would be prominent citizens brought in. There was a time for enslaved people in that community to actually talk about what they went through so people would never forget. And then you got to the party. So the parties would have certain food, something about cooking food for other people, because you're telling them you love them, you care about their survival. Even if the food is straight nasty,
Pause it.
It's still meaningful.
This is where white people learn this from. Cooking for other people, This is such a unique thing for a people to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because whites don't do that. Whites don't cook for other people, right? Like that's the atomized white, right? Goes to the supermarket and gets a ready meal.
Yeah, I mean, but before this, Italians were just killing the animals and then not even cooking them.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't know what to do with them.
Look, before the blacks taught the whites like how to cook, the whites didn't even know what spices were. Right? We're truly, truly grateful.
Down at a table with other people, other human beings, and you're acknowledging their humanity.
Let's get to some of the food.
So you have to remember, Juneteenth is a summer holiday in Texas. So what are people going to be eating in Texas in June? And so over time, a Juneteenth trinity does emerge. So you've got barbecue, usually pork spare ribs, brisket, chicken, and then sausages. In Black community, we have a coarsely ground spicy sausage we call hot links. Then you're going to have some kind of red
pause
drink.
this. So this guy's a culinary historian, but is this food historic? It seems like very modern food that they're eating.
What, you never heard the story of the slave who was freed and developed the sausage?
I don't. Why do they have a historian in here? Guy Fieri on Diners, Drives, and this could be covered on any TV show right now. That's what I'm watching. This isn't like particularly blackified historically.
Look, it's just an ad for this place. Right? This is how, like, a lot of these news channels basically hit themselves afloat. They do these ads, basically, it's not an ad, it's a human interest piece. It's an ad. You just glaze in this Ninja Chicken Shack, you know.
But over time, people have started embracing other red foods. So red velvet cake is now a popular dessert on Juneteenth. We got our red Kool-Aid.
And then, cheers.
Cheers. That's a good hot one.
That's a really good hot one.
Nice and spicy.
Ooh.
So all of these foods are red foods. And the belief is that the color red symbolizes the blood shed by enslaved animals.
Holy shit, I was right.
Dude, before we went live, he was, because I saw Kool-Aid, like red Kool-Aid, red velvet cake, and then he was like, oh yeah, it's to symbolize the blood, and I'm like, it's sad because I don't know if you're joking.
I just made it up.
Nobody else has ever been through bloodshed and
Yep.
to make it red. That's why the Italians have a red pizza sauce,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. To symbolize the blood shed by the Italians. Yes.
Africans. And so that becomes the symbolic food of Juneteenth.
Why do you think it's so strong of a celebration in Denver today?
Oh, I think it's strong because often when I do a presentation on Juneteenth, I just say it's the latest word on freedom because we're not fully free yet. So it's a reminder that freedom is fleeting and we have to continue to work on it to make sure we have the freedoms that are guaranteed under the Constitution, politically, socially, economically, and then also that we feel that we're part of this nation, truly part of this nation.
Connected through food, and that was Denver 7's Mike.
Ain't no tree high enough. They are just so ungrateful. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Still not free, huh? I wonder where they get it from. Where no matter what you do, and you know what? So sure, there's black fatigue, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, Juneteenth is a mooish holiday. Can we agree on that? Black history is a mooish invention.
Well, yes.
And
we acknowledge the contributions of the Moorish community for our emancipation and our communization and our Linskification.
And so, like, the trans people are having their victim card denied, and blacks slowly, we're not caring of having their victim card denied, but we're starting to face the final boss of having their victim card denied, which is what we're going to cover later on. The Moos are having their victim card denied by the Trump administration, and if you believe it, or if you can believe it, they're not handling it well. They're not handling it well at all, and they don't know what to do.
They're literally losing their shit. Like it is freaking insane. Like they got this thing. Someone coined this phrase, transactional amnesia, where like it doesn't matter like what thing you've done before. It's like just this continual like, what have you done?
What
for me
have
lately?
you done for me lately?
Like literally, what have you done for me in the past 5 seconds? And the crazy thing is, right? It's taking like literally the US like running out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and the possibility of like a financial crash and all this kind of other stuff to get like Trump to even like move against them like slightly, and they're still totally losing their rag, right? They don't care if America goes under. They've got somewhere to go, like you, Ardy. You've got that second America to go to, right?
I don't. Fist, even my home doesn't feel like home. Okay, I don't even have a place to go now. Okay, I'm looking for one place, let alone a second place.
No, like you can always go to White's Rail, right? Like that's a place. Right?
Well, fellas, actually, what we can all do, okay, is go to Return to the Land, which I found out it's not even $25 a year; it's $25 one time to gain access to the Return to the Land PMA. Isn't that incredible? You can talk to Nick Fuentes, all right, for the small fee of $100 a month, okay? Or you can pay $25 one time and have a network of white people you can talk to. Also, very quickly, I'm going to demystify it. You don't have to go to Arkansas, okay? They're a global movement, and it's about connecting white people and organizing wherever you are locally and in terms of what you're able to do on the internet, just so you fellows know.
Very nice.
There's that.
So we'll start off. I mean, this whole episode's quite moo-watchy, actually, because they've been making moves, right?
We missed
there.
the moves. We used to go very hard in the moves. Other things were happening, right? And I just miss going hard in the moves.
Well, they're going hard on themselves. Like it's just literally, you don't even have to say anything. Like you just literally just have to like, look at what they're saying. So Timu Nosferatu, Jonathan Greenblatt, he's very, very worried. The consequences of their own actions, essentially.
We are seeing Jewish people, the Jewish state, blamed for the war in the Middle East.
So this is what they do is they say the absolute truth in an indignant tone, right?
It's correct. Like, what is to blame then for the war in the Middle East? What social and economic circumstances? Oh, the Iranians for existing, basically,
no,
right?
They always pivot to people are saying it's 100% our fault, and this is what James Lindsay is going to do. This is what all of them constantly do.
Right.
That is wrong. It is wrong to scapegoat. It is wrong to hold Jewish people accountable for something you don't like on the other side of the planet. And we really need leaders on all sides in politics.
Wait, on the other side of the planet? You mean next to Israel?
In his mind, so right now he is America in this conversation when he's saying this, right?
Right.
And then in different conversations, he's in Israel, yeah.
Are you saying, Ardy, that his interests are my interests? That's amazing. I've never heard that before.
I'm not saying that. That's just reality. That's been the reality we've been living in for about a good 80 years now.
Right. Okay. Good to know.
Running for office, podcasters, to stop with the conspiracies, to stop with the accusations, and then
we got a shout out. Hey, Jonathan.
Podcasters.
Thanks for watching the show. Hope you're having a great time.
That started with Konstantin Kisin a year ago, and I have the video about Podcastistan. No one bit on it. They forgot about it, and they've resurrected it in the past 2 months, which really signifies they have absolutely nothing in the tank.
Where's our fat ass super chats? Like what? You watch our show for free? How very Moorish of you.
and tell us, but we oppose anti-Semitism. You don't get to say you're opposed to hate if you're trafficking in hateful conspiracy theories. Everyone needs to dial down the rhetoric, to take a step back, and to start doing something to stop this epidemic before it gets even worse.
And it's continuing all over the country right now, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, at ADL, we focus on protecting the Jewish community. We have never been busier. Like we are seeing.
They just need more money. That's what they need. That's the issue, is that the moose, again. So what's really funny, and James Lindsay will cover this, is the commies, the Nazis, everyone hated the moose. Everyone hated them. That's my whole story. There's no anecdote. I'm just stating a fact, okay? Everyone hated them during World War II. Unanimously didn't like.
Does that not beg the question
of how bad anti-Semitism is, right?
No, I'm just spitballing here, right? Does that not beg the question of like why, right? It's a disease, right? It's like a weird mental, contagious disease, right?
Well, you're treading into conspiracy theories right now.
It's like, man, this conspiracy theorist. I'm like, you wouldn't happen to be currently doing a conspiracy, would you?
You're starting to go into conspiracy right now when you ask why. You how much does it bother them when you go just asking questions? Whenever they say that, oh, he's just asking questions. Well, let me just ask a question. It's like, how are you a demon that's being actualized right now?
Okay, so we gotta cover Lindsay's.
We got some soupies.
Yeah, let's do super chats. Okay,
piling up
Hurt
like the
Jane for 10 loonies. Thank you very much, mate.
Hi there, mate.
Happy Ninjaween, fellas. Thank you very much, Hurt Jane, and a happy Ninjaween to you as well.
Yes.
Don't forget to go into the spooky trap house.
Yeah, don't forget to put on your costume. Don't forget the big red lips. The shabby clothing, the large shoes like it's a clown, right? And just say it's a clown. Just say they were out of white face paint, and just say you're a clown.
Mommy, can I hold my Glock sideways? Of course you can. James Lindsay's hands for $5. Our favorite pair of hands. Thank you very, very much. Ask not what the USA can do for you. Ask what you can do for Israel. Quite.
Every time, baby.
Asking the important question. Yeah. Aaron May just cost for $5. Hey, man. The real Gibbs were the liquor stores we appropriated forcibly along the way. Happy Commie Black Moo Day. And yes, a happy Commie Black Moo Day to you as well, Aaron May.
It really is incredible. They don't understand capitalism or per capita, but they're see, they're forcing all of these gun stores and liquor stores onto us, it's like, oh, okay. Are they forcing the wig stores onto you too? This is what you're spending money on. Like, what are you talking about?
Are they forcing the shape stores on us? is the real fucking question you should be asking, mate.
That was a layup.
Frankenstack for $10. Thank you very much. Fist, I'm a Roman Catholic, and that video on the nuns from the last cloud-based lifeform stream made me really sad. Oh, I know, mate. Holy shit. I hate how often we are attacked, but that's what happens when you are so big. So many opportunities. Yeah, guys, honestly, check that stream out. Like, we rewatched a part of Adam Curtis's Century of the Self, and I never saw this before. I must have watched this like documentary like fucking 50 times, and then this bit where like all these Moorish psychiatrists go in and they just destroy a Catholic convent by like like getting all the nuns like into democracy, and they start like voting for crap, and then they like turn them all into like lesbians. Oh, it's horrible. It's totally like insane. Thank you very much, Frankenstack.
So there is historical precedent for what they're doing now.
Oh yeah.
No. Hold on. But the left did that. Turn it gay, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's what James Lindsay would say. Gnostic leftists.
Yeah, well, we got into it because I found this interview. They were talking about like the Esalen Institute and how they were like linked to like UFOs, and I started looking into the Esalen Institute, and look, I won't get into it. It's huge. Check it out. King Spectre for $5. Well, if they aren't all, then none of it is, even if 99% of it is.
It's I can't believe that argument. This really shows how effective it is when you have power that you don't have to be clever. You can just use the same horrible argument over and over again.
Yes, and then eventually you grow complacent, and you know your arguments
not
like
sustainable.
Stop working.
Exactly.
Yep. Sunday math. Oh, I think you're new. Welcome, sir, for $5. Apparently, Islam has a significant influence on the grape gangs in England. Yeah, it's mainly Pakistanis from this one area in Pakistan called Mirpur.
Well, that's actually not true, as we're going to learn.
It's spread out. Okay, well, I think it started with the Mirpuris, but yeah. Poke Strokem for $5. I just like hearing Fist say Poke Strokem. Also consider Pook Spookum, Dank Stankum, etc.
We will take those under advisement. We will escalate those to the appropriate department.
Thanks very much, mate. Dillweed for $10. Way to go. Happy Super Blackface Friday, everyone. Enjoy your Juneteenth.
It's really it's an act of conquering. Okay, I don't know why. How difficult is it to make up holidays? I don't even care if it's a really like egomaniacal Trump holiday. Anything to fight back against their gay holidays.
Frankensteak for another $5. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Happy Shapes Day, you all. Whites are squares, blacks are triangles, yellows are diamonds, and moos are stars.
I'm gonna have to screen cap that legend so I can remember that.
Yeah, that's well, that is going to require some deep thinking.
That's how we can speak in code.
Oh yeah. Drents for 14.88.
Oh, there he is.
That's an oddly specific number of loonies.
He's a civic nationalist, by the way.
Oh,
in case you don't know.
Right. First Friday in months where I can watch live. Hope you two and the fellas are all well. Also, everyone never fed most on Maine.
Fed post on
never
Maine.
Fed post on Maine.
Yeah, we some of the fellows in the background were like, they're reading the inquiry. They're like, I have such an urge to fed post. It's so maddening. That's where that comes from.
Never fed post on Maine, boys. Earl Corgi for $10. The Gibbs be raining. Yes, they do. The Gibbs, they be raining.
Hey, it do be like that, though.
It do be like that. It do be like that. Sliquidator for $5. I think you're new as well. Welcome. This thumbnail makes me think of Dark of the Moon's finale where Megatron shoots Sentinel Prime after being called his bitch.
That's exactly what I was going for. Do they also have a joke that hides the K slur?
Possibly. CSI for $5. Our holiday is Father's Day. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean that is the joke where they gave him this holiday over Father's Day weekend.
And yes, Nick Nielsen granted 1 membership. Thank you very much, mate.
Oh, lordy, you're gonna want to watch the 100% of Groypers are gay and black under the live stream section. Whoever got that one.
Okay.
So
super chats achieved.
yes, I got a little bit.
Are we on to the hands that hurt and the hands that
not
heal
yet.
the Moorish community? Oh no, we got more slot.
So
take it away.
We have to offload our racism. Okay, we have so much racism now, and believe it or not enough white people to engage in it. So we have some sort of gay socialist Asian over here that burned a cross. This is just bizarre.
I don't want to wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
On that video, are you threatening him?
No.
You say that you think that he should be brought to an end.
I said he deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrase, I guess, but
I think you use the word end.
That's what I mean by end. I mean by end, I don't mean like a civil war. If that is the imagery that you're trying to imagine.
If that's the imagery that you're trying to imagine, no one's listening to themselves speak anymore, dude. When you look at the letter of somebody, a soldier from World War I, what he would write back to us, like, it's just incredible how people are able to speak without knowing what they're about to say. It's incredible.
I mean, yes. I mean, I did say it. That is what I said, but I meant something. I can't help it if you come away with the idea that what I said. I meant to say what I said. No. When I said end, I meant burnt ends. I was having some barbecue, and I said that Trump should eat some burnt ends.
This gets worse.
Says he built this cross after carrying wooden slats from his near West Side apartment to Grant Park last Tuesday afternoon. He showed the red ball cap that he put on the top beam and used lighter fluid and toilet paper to get it all going.
Does anyone find it strange? So, Fist, you're not from the States. Are you aware of the significance of burning a cross on a lawn?
Yes. Wasn't that a sort of like popular recreational activity for the white hooded peoples of Southern America who are mostly Democrat, if I understand
I
correctly?
haven't really ever seen it be co-opted or done in any other regard. So you know how like Gen Z, like Gen Alpha, like might not know who Aerosmith is, and you realize you're old, where you're like, how do you not know this thing my old ass knows, right? That's starting to happen with like, they'll say KKK. I'm actually convinced that there's a large, I can't prove this, but I feel like it's true. There's a large portion of the population that thinks Michael Jordan is dead because you only see like archival footage of him. And you hear about him like in the past, how he was the greatest, and you rarely see him nowadays. You don't necessarily, yeah.
So this kid legitimately thought that since the cross is the symbol of Christian nationalism that he's like railing against.
Yes.
Setting it on fire.
Yeah,
what a cultural faux pas.
Well,
right?
you would think the left educates people on racism and whatnot, right? Or I guess they just blindly talk about it, and this generation doesn't even know that the KKK did that. So he's like, yeah, no. It's not that I hate black people; it's that I hate Christians. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's okay, right? As long as
no one seems to care that much.
I put a
you
red
don't have to
hat
hate Christians
to
as much as
signify
you want.
the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again hat. So that was, yeah, that's what I tied on top.
But that's not visible in the one video that was taken by a motorist.
Lou says he was protesting what he calls MAGA Christian nationalist supporters and
Aha!
the Trump administration ruling class.
He's just scamming people. We're just scamming out of money, right? And I think that's a great reflection of how this country works right now.
Yeah, like, when he like paints his skin black and gives himself big red lips, he's like, I'm being a black trans person right now. All these other like all of these other racial faux pas that he's unaware of that he keeps doing.
I mean, he could go back to Asia, I presume. Like,
So now that was covered by NBC Chicago, which means this happened in Chicago, which means the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, has to respond to this. Now it's public knowledge that this has nothing to do with the KKK. So there's no way he could possibly put this on white people.
Merlin Liu, who was interviewed by NBC5, who admitted to allegedly burning the cross in Grant Park. During that interview, he seemed to lack an understanding of the meaning behind burning a cross and the implications of that. How concerning is that to you as mayor of, obviously, of a city with a predominantly black population? And do you think there needs to be more education around that?
Well, look, I can't speak to his lack of or understanding of the gravity of what he is alleged of having done. And, again, it's a painful reminder of how hatred towards Black Americans still permeates, in our society.
Merlin.
Incredible. The really think about how difficult history has been when they've been able to control the narrative, and you used to be like one or two people that would notice something, and then other people would like just want to not see it and just kind of reject it. Now it's so brazenly out in the open, and he still is just like, yeah, that kid hates blacks, I guess. Do you know anything about it? Nope.
It's crazy how he's like out of his comfort zone. He's just like curving it back until he's back on familiar ground. Like,
they don't know where they don't know where the plane's gonna land. He doesn't know where he's searching for it, where it's gonna land. Now, fellas, a couple weeks ago we mentioned Lucas Gage, and because something came up where all of a sudden he used to be critical of the moves and now he's not. I recently made a video on him. Then of course he's making the circuit on Jeremy Boring's show, and let's see how that's going for him.
I think you actually made a really profound point, which is not just true of the Jews and the Holocaust, but and anti-Semitism, but really a lot of tribalism is driven by external hostility.
Yep.
One reason we don't have white race consciousness in America is because we haven't had to. We've been a majority, and there's really no such.
Now hold on. So if you're a majority, you don't get an identity? Is that the epistemology there? We don't need one because we're the majority. Isn't every other time in human history being the majority is what grants you this unified consciousness? Am I missing something here? Is it just different when we do it?
I mean, if you gloss over like all of the sort of concerted attempts to crack down on any of that like stuff by the government and NGOs and stuff, right? Like, the reason why we don't have one is we just haven't needed it. Like as though there wasn't like this, 50, 100-year effort to deliberately like crack down on and take out anyone espousing any like kind of white identity. I mean,
or like not like it's organic or anything. People just do that because they need it, right?
Right.
It doesn't like organically happen. Yeah. Whites don't need it because they're the majority. That doesn't make any sense, but he's saying it like it's a fact. Let's see if he can dig himself out of this hole.
Really no such thing as white people.
Okay, well.
Oh!
He's actually digging the hole a little bit deeper. Now, he's not a moo, okay? But boy, oh boy, is he a goy, oh goy. He is trying to compete with Lindsay.
Is there really any such thing as white people? Perhaps, I'm just going to go and celebrate being Moish with my black brothers who are proud of being black, and my Indian brothers who are proud of being Indian, and my, every single other country in the world who are proud of being themselves. Oh, God, I'm so sick of this. Like, just fucking,
And for those of you who don't know, this is Jeremy Boring, who used to be the CEO of Daily Wire, so he is has a very intimate knowledge, interdealings with the moos. And so I think we would both agree that Jeremy Boring is more of a handler, right? He's very, very aware of everything he's saying and doing. James Lindsay is more so the useful idiot goy, right? He's more so the goy wrangler. Like in this conversation, how he's like directing this conversation.
Yeah. America was settled by the British, and then it was even more Germans came over, and then the Irish came over, and then the Italians came over, and that European migration that came in all of those different waves didn't see themselves as one group of people. The reason you see an emerging white consciousness in the country now is because there is opposition to that, what has historically been a diverse set of people, and they're being treated as one group of people.
It's an umbrella term, like the word Jew. Like Jews are different people.
I think
it's incoherent. Listening to these conversations is incoherent. So does Jeremy Boring think that man's default state is to not collectivize and be in a group unless something happens? Does he think that being in a group is a reactionary force?
I mean, I don't agree with what Lucas is saying here. This is very, very antiseptic. To say that the moves are not a people is to deny their ability to like organize together on religious and ethnic lines. And of course, it's very important that they do that because of historical reasons. And it's also equally important that whites are not allowed to do that also for historical reasons. We can say that whites don't exist, but to say that moves don't exist is terrible, terrible anti-Semitism. I can't believe he hasn't been like struck by an orbital satellite yet, quite frankly.
I have horrible news for you. Your character, right? That gaslighting pales in comparison to Jeremy Boring's gaslighting right now. Okay.
For fuck's sake.
Your joke gaslighting was a lot of gaslighting. You're not going to believe this. Here we go.
Yeah, this is the problem with the just noticing anti-Semitism.
Right.
Is that you're actually not noticing.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
Hold on. That's level 1. Let me crank it up to level 2. Okay.
You know, you think that you're seeing a pattern. 9 times out of 10, the pattern that you're describing doesn't exist.
Oh, that's.
You can't even make fun of that. That's like that is what your character would say, but he wouldn't be that blunt with it. You would at least be more beating around the bush when you're doing that character. Straight up, he's like, you're not seeing it, and you're crazy if you think you're seeing it. It's like the epitome of gaslighting.
The pattern doesn't exist. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, oh my god.
It's selectively observed, not universally or consistently observed, and you're not actually noticing it. You're being shown it by other voices and influencers and people who also have interests and agendas. And, and sometimes
none of this applies to him.
So, if the pattern doesn't exist, how can you be shown it? Right? Like, what is like some like tricky? Is it like one of those like weird posters that was like popular in the 90s where it like looks like chaos and you got to like focus your eyes and you like see a shape in it and it like pops out. Like, and there's a bunch of like podcasters like teaching you how to like. I don't understand.
You already have the answer. You already said the answer. You wait for James Lindsay to tell you. So he clears your mind right now, and then you wait for him. If you look at all of the comments, it's very similar to Lindsay-ites. They wait to be told what to think, but they feel very smart. And there's nothing more important to an insecure person than feeling smart. Okay.
Sometimes political agendas, or in some cases, economic agendas, and it requires you to believe things about the world that aren't true, not just about the circumstance that aren't true, but about the world that are not true. And it also requires you to believe that people can understand long-term outcomes. So whenever I've interacted...
What? How could you possibly have a problem with what he just said?
Just skate over.
Oh yeah, he breezed right by it.
I think this is like peak phase 1, basically, right? He's still clinging on to phase 1 and being like, oh yeah, like, you know, none of it exists. So you're a terrible poison if you like even think about this stuff. Mate, he's behind the curve. That's all I'm saying.
With 9/11 conspiracy theorists in the past, and you say, well, why? If I grant you that, okay, the government did it or the Jews did it or whatever, to what end? Right. And they always go to Iraq.
Yeah, to get us into the Iraq War.
And then I always have to say, well, we didn't go to Iraq. We didn't go to Iraq for years. We went to Afghanistan.
Right.
We deployed to Afghanistan to find Osama bin Laden. We took on the Taliban. We took control of an entire country that now had to be organized and dealt with. What wound up being a 20-year occupation by America of Afghanistan. Like, how did that benefit America? How did it benefit the Jews? If we wanted to go to war in Afghanistan, we didn't need 9/11. Osama bin Laden had already bombed the USS Cole. We could have used that. A new administration came in. If Bush wanted to go to war in Afghanistan because he was just bloodthirsty and wanted to go give a gift to the military-industrial complex, he didn't need a new reason. He could have just said, well, we just finished the investigation of the Cole. It was Osama bin Laden. We're going.
Look, Jeremy is correct, right? What possible benefit could there be to like taking over the world's largest supplier and manufacturer of heroin? Right? Like there's no benefit from that. Like,
remember, was it Joe Kent? If it wasn't Joe Kent, it was somebody else who was talking about how they were like going over to like Afghanistan. He's like, hey, they're selling heroin. And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not supposed to be doing that. They're like, let's go and talk to you over here for a second.
Yeah.
We're going to send you back. You clearly didn't get all the signals we've been sending you. He was like a goody two-shoes going over there saying like, hey, wait a minute. And he starts asking questions and starts like drawing attention to it. Like, you fucking idiot. Of course we're fucking CIA's fucking selling heroin over here. Yes, you moron.
If we were doing it for the Jews, the state of Israel would have loved nothing more in 2001 than for us to go to war with Iran. Their number one geopolitical rival for our entire life and really for 50 years. We never went to war with Iran in the wake of 9/11. Like now you have to tell me.
Oh my God!
Wasn't there a list of countries that we're going to go after?
This is such like legit historical revisionism. Okay, for a start, right? The Clean Break memo, which Wesley Clark referenced, which is like, I think what this tweet references, is that there were like 7 countries and Iran was the final country. And the idea was to destabilize all the countries around Iran first, because Iran was the final boss. And by the way, there were tons of neocons at the time, right? Mike Bolton, Lindsey Graham, all these like fucktards who were like, oh, we got to go to Iran, right? Like, they were really, really pissed off when Bush called time on it and was like, but they stayed in Afghanistan, that heroin is going to pay for itself.
When we knocked down the towers, we knew that we would first have to go to Afghanistan, but then we knew that we would pivot and go to Iraq, and then we'd be able to, 20 years later, Donald Trump would go to war with Iran or whatever it is. It's like, well, again, then please rule me. Anyone who could see all of that from, also they had to know that any of the plans were going to work.
If they didn't fail, right. One of the planes fell in Pennsylvania. Well, I mean, General Wesley Clark did say we're going to war in 5 countries in 7 years, something like that. He did bring that up. I don't know how he knew that. If he's saying, I can't confirm he knew for a fact. He did say those
Well,
words.
I do think that there was a project in the Bush administration in the wake of 9/11 to rebuild and democratize the Middle East. Right. I think that was an idealistic
Wasn't in
utopianist.
the wake of 9/11, you fucktard. The Yinon plan and this was, oh my God. Yeah, because that was like the stunning revelation that after 9/11, this plan emerged. No. The point was that Wesley Clark saw it before 9/11.
Leading up to, right.
Oh, fuck me, man. The gaslighting.
And I think that
nation building.
Goy sliding.
Flaw. Yeah, you can't bring that to these people. They don't want it.
That's right. You cannot force democracy on people, but that's not to say that you can't create circumstances over time in which better government can begin to take root. We've done that. The American military has done that historically. We did it in Germany. We did it in Japan. We did it in Korea. There are reasons to have been optimistic about that if you were George W. Bush.
Is that essentially an IQ argument where it worked in Germany, Japan, and Korea?
No, you can't force democracy on Muslims. Is the problem, right? Like you can force democracy on I don't know whether that's an IQ argument. I mean, maybe, but democracy is
swirling around in there somewhere.
Democracy is specifically haram under Islam. It's like Islam does not permit democracy. It's haram. So good luck with that. Oh God.
There we go. Well, let me. So this is actually. I'm going to show this when you're about to do your thing. Let's get into Lindsay. Let's just get into it. Let's just crawl
okay. Wait,
James
hang on.
right
I think I've got oh no. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Fellas, is Bolshevism really mooish? Is it? Is it really? Now, of course, the argument is going to be: is it 100% Moodyism? Right? It's every Snopes article you've ever read is how the kosher centrists try to position these arguments.
The Frankfurt School to critical race theory, which, believe it or not, at the time almost nobody had credibly done. And in fact, I spent most of 2021 and part of 2022 still trying to convince people that was true, even though it's like, here's the quote. Anyway, they were praising me, but then there would be, by the way, James, did you notice that all of the Frankfurt School guys were what religion? And I was like, communist? And they were like, no, Jews. Did you notice that they're all Jews? Well, it turns out that this would then expand. Did you know that most of the Bolsheviks...
Pause it. No, James. No one said, did you notice the religion of the Frankfurt School? They were all fucking atheists. The question was, did you notice the ethnicity of the Frankfurt School? Oh, just fucking lie. Just go. Just lie. Go for it.
They always get to play fast and loose with what a moo is.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently.
Mm-hmm.
The Bolsheviks were disproportionately Jewish. And so this is repeating a conspiracy theory. Yes, a conspiracy theory. This is a propaganda line that is not true, that is sometimes called Judeo-Bolshevism. This was a conspiracy theory or a line that was used by the Nazis a lot. That is, we're not doing the genetic fallacy here. We're not discrediting it because the Nazis used it, but it's good to know that the Nazis did use it. This isn't a Hitler drank water, therefore water is bad. Hitler did the Judeo-Bolshevik conspiracy theory, therefore the Judeo-Bolshevik conspiracy theory is bad. It's bad on its own, but they definitely did it. The claim was that the anti-Marxism of Nazism was located in the fact that Hitler had concluded, as he writes in Mein Kampf, that he'd become a noticer. He noticed one day that all of the communists that he dealt with, the Marxists that he hated, were Jews, and that it must be a Jewish thing. And so that's the question then. That's the propaganda. That's the question. Is it correct for us to say that Bolshevism is a Jewish philosophy? Were most of the Bolsheviks in this Russian revolution in 1917 and before and after, were most of the Bolsheviks Jewish? P.S. Lenin and Stalin weren't.
Vladimir Lenin did have Moorish ancestry.
Yeah, he did. He did. I mean, I don't know, man. The real question actually was the Bolshevik leadership Moorish, right? Not whether they like recruited like a bunch of like guys to like help them. Was the leadership Moorish, right? With the fundamental like ideas and aims of the movement primarily influenced by atheist Moori? And I think yes, it's very, very clear that it was, and not just the Soviet Union, by the way, right? The failed revolution that happened in Germany, the Spartacus uprising, I think it was like in 1918. Chat if you can like correct me on that. All the leaders of that were like Moorish. Rosa Luxemburg, like Adenauer, I think his name was. Like, oh my god, this is so fucking tiresome.
It's not all of them. So I just want you to appreciate how absolutely retarded the Lindsay-ites are, okay? So I commented, does anyone else find it strange that James allegedly has a team of people and the only thing he produces is just unscripted audio with no video of receipts? James's entire body of evidence is trust me, bro. And somebody said, he's giving us points of reference to look up for ourselves. That's the opposite of trust me, bro. Telling people to just go look it up for themselves isn't trust me, bro. That's not trust me, bro. That's exactly what trust me, bro is. No. He's descriptively definitely telling us to just go and look it up later. Why wouldn't you just show? Why wouldn't you just prove these things in your video on YouTube? We all know the most effective YouTube videos are ones where someone just says, yeah, just whatever, just go look it up later, just trust me. I mean, they think it's the opposite of trust me, bro, if he tells you to look it up later. But just trust them. So wait, don't trust them for now? It's incoherent.
It's not like, there are not sources. And as someone in the chat says, Stalin indeed was not Moorish. And this is probably why Stalin wound up fighting against the Moors later on. Under Stalin, the USSR took a decidedly anti-Semitic turn around the time of the Doctors plot. I think previous to that, there was like the Engineers plot, and the general tenor of which was that there were like a whole bunch of Moorish doctors that were assassinating people in the higher up of the USSR. And then Stalin all of a sudden like died, and all the people arrested got freed. So I don't know, right? Like,
Are they disproportionately Jewish even? What does it mean? What does that look like? Is Judeo-Bolshevism actually a thing? And it turns out that it is not. There's your spoiler alert. All of this is wrong. It's just wrong. The thing is, with a lot of this anti-Semitic stuff, we can get into this kind of moralizing term. That's anti-Semitic, therefore it's bad. And what you'll hear back is, but you didn't say it was false. You couldn't say I was lying.
He hates it so much. He hates it. He hates that. I've been saying that to him for over a year now. I'm so glad it pierced his armor finally. Oh, but you can't say I'm wrong. Oh. This is what they think an intellectual speaker sounds like. We all know that when, Connor Tomlinson talks like this, This is what an intellectual speaker sounds like. Frank Wright speaks like this.
Well, then pull out a source, James, right? Like
No, but it's not. No. That would be trust me, bro. This is the exact opposite of trust me, bro, which is go and look it up for yourself. Okay, somehow.
I'm pretty sure like all the names of the higher ups in the Bolsheviks are like public. You could just, you could look up the membership list yourself. It's not impossible to find. I mean,
this is what I call the 93% fallacy. Okay. We talk about the 7% of damage across the country that totaled in billions of dollars, and they go, but what about the times it didn't happen? We're talking about all the moos, even though they're not the majority, and they go, but what about all the ones that aren't? Let's think of the Muslim grooming gangs, okay? Let's think of all the ones that are white. But what about all the examples that aren't what you're talking about? It is the epitome of a whataboutism. You can never talk about what you want to talk about.
But not only this, right? Like this entire argument is retarded on its face, okay? How many people, say in a country like America, work for the government, right? Let's say it's like 1 or 2%, okay?
Sure.
People like work for the government, okay? That government has like power over taxation, power over the purse, power over the military, right? And you can like, well, 93% of people, like 8% of people aren't in the government. Therefore, right, the government is completely powerless. That's complete bullshit. It's not a matter of quantity. It is a matter of quality. It is a matter of position and power over decision. That is the crucial thing to like ask.
Yeah, I just love how responding to James Lindsay, it makes you sound condescending, like you're speaking to a kindergartner. I know you're not speaking to me like a kindergartner, but it makes you talk like you're speaking to a child whenever you're trying to respond to James Lindsay, right?
You hear that all the time. So the idea now is that it's very popular to say kind of impolitic or impolite or downright evil things so long as they're true. And so now you're a brave truth teller for saying true things, even though people don't want to hear them. And this is a very big mode of thought, especially on the woke right, but also actually on the woke left as well. Both sides believe there are certain things society doesn't want said. And
isn't that just objectively true? Do you see how they're still all in their edgy atheist phase, where they operate outside of the both sides thing? It's like, well, there are things that society doesn't want to hear all the time. What are you talking about? I don't even know what point that is.
It's so crazy because like this was Lindsay like back in the day,
right? Everyone's attention
when he was all about like the Troon thing. We have to tell about the truth.
Okay, groomer. That was his gimmick.
But now, right? It threatens his pet hobby horse. All of a sudden, like, oh no, like truth telling is like bad, and you just think that you're onto something here, and like actually, have you considered?
Turns out Judaism doesn't support any of that. It is an ethno-religious tradition. It sees itself as a nation. It is centered on monotheism. It believes the Torah to be perfect and themselves to be...
See, now we have a really strict, rigid definition of Moodyism, right? We all know that Moodyism is clearly defined. There's no loopholes. There's no ways around anything. It never forms with anything else like social justice or anything like that. And I mean, it can't be Moodyism if there's atheists, right? There's never been any sort of atheist mood right?
And of course, we all know this, right? Moodyism is a monolith, right? There's no differences, right? There's not like, Reform Moodyism and Chabad and like different interpretations. There aren't like, rabbis like Maimonides, like strict interpretations of like the norms. Like, oh my God, this is just like the most insane goy slop I've ever freaking seen. Like,
that's what I'm saying. At least Jeremy Boring is more of a handler. James Lindsay, James Lindsay's just out of control. His like mind has gone crazy from it, and they can't rope him back in to save their lives.
And he totally, as someone in the chat pointed out, didn't mention the Talmud.
Right?
I
believe that may be coming up.
Oh, really? Okay.
In covenant with God, and that they have no higher duty whatsoever than this covenant and keeping it as best they can or as they choose. And in its religious forms, Judaism has a very particularist ethnic and cultural continuity as a community. It is the opposite of basically everything Marxist-Leninist. And then what about the secular Jews? Well, even secular Jews and cultural Judaism, if you might call it that.
He says cultural Moodyism, if you might call it that. It's so cryptic, he doesn't even know what to call it. Cultural Moodyism, if you want to call it that. James, what are you trying to describe? The kind of thing where it's secular moos that all kind of behave the same way with communism. I swear to God, it's genetic, and it's the repairing the world thing, where it's drilled into their heads that they have to repair the world, and they're like, no, we can make up our own rules, which is what Moodyism kind of already is. So then once they throw it away, they're like, no, we're going to fully, hedonistically make up all of our own rules for the good of other people. It's directly linked to that culture of Moodyism, of always having to never leave anyone the fuck alone.
Still don't align with these core tenets of Bolshevism. Kind of the key differences are going to be things like atheism versus religion. I mean, Judaism is a religion, right? The Bolsheviks were hostile militant atheists. Actually, they were communists. Let's be more clear. I've covered this in the past. They pushed hostile militant atheism as a way to get all other religious beliefs out so that the people could become good communists, which they believed was rooted in an ideology or a belief system called scientific materialism or dialectical materialism, or the immortal science of communism. So they believed it not to be a religion, which it is an ersatz religion, communism, but rather a science. But they were hostile to Jews. They were hostile to Judaism as a religion, and they were hostile to Jews as religious people. They closed synagogues, they banned Hebrew education, they dissolved Jewish religious institutions, they promoted scientific atheism. When Stalin took power, he threw all of the Jews out of the Bolshevik Party. Karl Marx had Jewish ethnicity, and this is the key, but he had Jewish ethnicity even though he was raised Protestant and declared himself an atheist who seemed to have...
I know, but James, why do these secular moves throughout history do these things? James, that is what people keep noticing. Like, even though they don't believe in Moodyism, the religion, why is it even the atheist ones seem to be so prominent in these violent takeovers? James.
Okay,
That's
so
what people know.
can I just cut in here, right?
Sure.
White is like, wait, is he lying about the synagogues? No, he's not. Okay, so he is correct. The Bolsheviks regarded any kind of religion as a sort of source of nationalism, right, and a barrier between these people and the state. So they did go like very hard against traditional Orthodox moves because they wouldn't assimilate, they wouldn't get with the program. And you have to draw a distinction between the USSR under Lenin and the USSR under Stalin, right? They're very different. Things changed a lot under Stalin. This idea that you can just talk like communism, quote unquote, and just take the entire history of the USSR is bullshit, right? The Bolsheviks under Lenin were a very different animal to the Bolsheviks under Stalin. There was like constant purges going on, particularly under like Stalin. No, they did get rid. They did go against the synagogues, but they went against the churches more, much more, because the church was seen obviously as a remnant of the Tsar and was a sort of the reason why they wanted to get rid of like all religion was because it was a barrier to the sort of the complete assimilation to everyone as part of this sort of like undifferentiated like mass man. That's also why they were against
political religion.
Yeah, chauvinism. But the thing is, right, this is a bit weird because anti-Semitism was also very, very harshly punished in the USSR, right? You could get killed for having a copy of the Protocols of Zion, for example. Okay, so it's complicated is what I'm getting at.
But it actually is complicated. We're gonna need a Nick Fuentes drop where he actually talks about something that actually is complicated.
Yeah.
Taken up league with Satan at some point in some regard. Openly critiqued Judaism. I read a podcast, I read parts of On the Jewish Question, showing where Marx's solution, the Jewish question is, what do we do with Jews? Assuming that we don't want them, and Marx's solution was we turn them into communists. We can get rid of...
What do you mean, assuming that we don't want them, James? Okay. It's a very easy assumption to make, especially during this time in the 20s and 30s. Not very popular really anywhere. Actually, in the United States, they were. It's not like they just moved to the United States in the 20s and 30s. That was, as always, a very slow boiling frog in the United States. But still some pushback here. But also, a lot of us thought they were white. A lot of us didn't even they were Jewish.
I just want to point this out. Okay, right? What was going on with Marx and Bauer in Germany at that time was that the moves generally had secured like such a hold on the country, mainly through capitalism. Okay, that this idea of like the Moorish question was being raised by the moves themselves, right? Like they wanted their own state. It was like the question of the time. It wasn't like Marx just by himself raised this idea, right? There was this whole kind of like thing going around about like, what are we going to do about the incredible like wealth inequality in Germany and just like the rise of communism. Again, communism didn't just like spring sort of like fully formed. It was this like gradual thing. There were like a bunch of attempted revolutions. It's a long and complicated story. The funniest
it goes way back to Hegel, and even before that, the Gnostics. You know, it goes way back.
The funny thing is that Marx in this was actually a moderate, because Bauer, who was he was his contemporary, was like, oh well, we should just abolish money. Like, the way to do it is just to like abolish all money. Like there was a lot of crazy shit going around those days.
I know, but it was such a threat that he was like, I know it sounds crazy, but it'll also, sure, we'll suffer in the meantime. But I mean, these people are out of their fucking minds. We need something to desperately change.
Is usually held up as kind of the arch example of a Bolshevik Jew. There's your Trotskyism or Trotskyites, if you've heard those terms. Leon Trotsky famously answered that his nationality was socialist when he was asked. This is like me stupidly saying, James.
See? He didn't really think of himself as a moo. So then he's kind of not a moo, which is a very moo way to interpret that, by the way. See, he said his nationality was social. See, he was loyal to that.
It's how I think of myself as black. Right? And as a result,
it's a very queer argument.
And because I think of myself as black, I therefore am completely lifted away from any considerations of genetics or race or anything. Right? I need you now to refer to me as Don Quavius Fist III. Thanks very much.
Did you notice what religion all the Frankfurt School guys had? And I said communism. Leon Trotsky himself said that his nationality was socialist when he was asked, even though he was Jewish ethnically. But where does communism come from? Well, we know that it comes from German philosophy like Hegel, the young Hegelians, Feuerbach's materialism. We know that there's a lot of like...
Yeah, but we see this with George Soros. We see this with so many like mooish billionaires that are secular but still support Israel and still support left-wing causes. James.
Yeah.
That's what we keep noticing over and over again.
Yeah.
Weird Gnostic mysticism woven into that with other strains. It also comes from ideas about British political economy kind of turned inside out in a German way. And we also know that it comes very heavily from French socialism. As a matter of fact, I don't know what the order that they'll be released in, but I've recorded a podcast called Where Did Communism Really Come From? Here for New Discourses.
Yes.
James is absolutely correct here, because there were no moos in France.
How dare you?
Right? They're absolutely not, right? Like France was one of the few countries that didn't have any moos in it at all, you know, and like after the revolution like happened and Napoleon got in, right? Like he absolutely did not emancipate.
Communism is French, according to James Lindsay, as you well know.
Yes, birthed from the religion of French. Look,
you're not jumping, but that's kind of what he said.
The argument, right, to just be succinct, to push back on his fucking gaslighting, right, is that there are not an infinite number of religions, okay? There are not an infinite number of ways of looking at the world. And when you create a new religion, what happens is that it is drawn from ideas in other religions, because no idea exists in a vacuum. And there is no sort of new thought regime that is birthed perfectly like ab initio from nothing. So the argument is that communism contained many strains from Moodyism, particularly Kabbalistic Moodyism, that went on to color these ideas despite them being allegedly atheist materialists. But I mean, what the fuck would I know?
Well, but this makes sense, because an atheist materialist still needs something to appeal to. And then they're going to appeal to something
precisely.
Yeah.
And so they just basically rename their god as like something else, and they go on fucking like doing their shit. And that is before you get into any arguments about genetics, right? The idea that there are like sort of like deeper ties between genetic populations. Oh, you're not like supposed to say that, right? And especially not supposed to say that about like white people, right? Don't you know that every person is an individual, and there's no... Oh, I'm so sick of this by this point, right? Like, just fucking look around you. You seriously like think there's nothing to this.
Well, we are imprisoned with individualism. We must behave better than, you know. They call us white supremacists, but then also tell us that we need to behave better than the stupid blacks. It's so fucking circular, dude. But are you ready for the proportion The
Wait.
disproportionate.
I
Yes,
just want
yes.
to point out, right? We can't be white
Absolutely.
supremacists. Whites don't exist. So if you think about it, we're just individualist supremacists, essentially, right? Liberal supremacists, maybe. I don't know.
We are whatever they need us to be when they need us to be it.
We're very accommodating. We're very accommodating like that, actually. You know,
and we're learning to only be accommodating to each other. We're learning very quickly. Okay, let's see how he handles things being disproportionate.
Because there were very few Jews in Russia proportionally. So there is in no way that you can actually make the connection that Bolshevism, the philosophy of Marxism-Leninism is the other name for it, was derived from Judaism in any way whatsoever, or that it's equivalent to Judaism in any way whatsoever. It's in fact an exact inverse. I was having a conversation with a rabbi once, and I was telling him the basic premises of communism. We were just kind of hashing it out, not that he'd never heard them. And he was like, that's like the exact opposite.
It's not trust me, bro. It's just that he was talking to a rabbi once, and the rabbi was like, oh, dude, communism's like the opposite of what we do. It's not trust me, bro.
What kind of a rabbi, James?
It is such
Fucking
a
like
piss poor
Shmuley.
anecdote. It's such a piss poor anecdote.
Shmuley is a goddamn rabbi, right? What you were talking with Rabbi Shmuley about like the finer points of like Moodyism. What were you like talking to like someone from Chabad? Could you be a bit more fucking specific, please?
A guy he knows, all right? Him and a girl got it on. Woo-wee! No. No, they didn't.
Is this the idea, right? That like any Moorish person who rolls up and calls himself a rabbi, let's use Shmuley again as an example, right?
Yeah, but you can imagine what it would be like if he did talk to the rabbi, right?
He, through some kind of weird racial osmosis, right, automatically understands the principles of all Moodyism, right? Reform, Orthodox, Chabad, right? Like what the fuck is this? Like, talk about like flattening a complex problem or a complex issue, like down to like just, oh my God, you get me angry like listening to this.
Those are fair criticisms, and in his defense, he's a math guy. So let's get down to the numbers, okay?
You're
Judaism in every way whatsoever. The fact is, though, that there is some overlap happening because some secular individuals of Jewish background were drawn to the radical universalist ideology of communism, the idea of destroying the class structure, and the ideas, actually, the lies that they said of ending Jewish persecution. But remember Marx's solution for how you end Jewish persecution. You make there be no Jews, and there's no Jewish persecution. Ta-da! It's like getting rid of cancer by killing somebody. They don't have cancer anymore, but they're also not alive. But it does turn out that there were...
Is that like what they're doing to whites? I mean, it's like you get rid of there being like a concept of like white people, and then all of a sudden there's no whites, and then you don't. Just saying, right?
No, you're forgetting. It's different when it's us. You
forgot
again.
Of course. Silly me.
For some disproportionality, this claim, there's a kernel of truth in the propaganda. Some disproportionality in Jewish representation within the Bolsheviks is a true statement. But
we've shown videos where they're proud of how they literally say they were disproportionately involved in these things. It's literally what they say.
So he gets how far into this video are we in? Like 15 minutes, right? I mean, yes, it's true, right? But here's all the reasons why like you should not draw the very obvious fucking conclusion from this, right? Oh.
This is only the beginning of how terrible this argument is.
We're talking about some really small percentages. Remember that disproportionality means that like maybe the population is 0.1% Jewish and 2% or 5% or 1% or whatever of the Bolsheviks maybe were Jewish. So what that means is you can have a very small fraction that's disproportionate to the proportion in the population. That's equity-based thing.
There was like between what? There was somewhere between... How many Bolsheviks were there? Between 10,000? It's under 100,000, but over 10,000, let's say, right?
I tell you what, Ardy, right? Why don't we get all of the fellas, okay, to take over the government in like some country, right?
You're fed up right now.
Like all the way down, okay, right? We'll have like, you know, the head of the police, the head of the military, right? Border security, we'll have like the exchequer and stuff like that. And then when anyone like says, oh, you know, this is having a disproportionate impact on the country, we'll be like, but there's so few of us. What are you talking about? We're less than 1% of the population, right? And someone goes, yeah, but you control like the finance ministry and the police and, you know, no. I'd be like, no, that's a stupid argument, right? 99% of the people who have absolutely no power and influence, right?
Fellas, like, we have won the war once we can say that, okay? That's when we've won.
Thinking guys, by the way, that's how the left thinks about these things. But it is true that there was some, especially in the...
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That's equity. That's an example of equity.
Whatever of the Bolsheviks maybe were Jewish. So what that means is you can have a very small fraction that's disproportionate to the proportion in the population. That's equity-based thinking, guys, by the way. That's
How the fuck is that equity-based thinking? It's literally the same per capita. Oh, dude, the per capita is how you can tell somebody is intellectually compromised. How is that the equity argument? Do you even know what he's going for there?
I've got no idea. Honestly, increasingly, like I listen to his stuff, and I just can't, past a certain point, I can't even follow his fucking argument. I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
how the left thinks about these things. But it is true that there was some, especially in the early leadership positions and in urban and intellectual roles, there was some. But at no point was there a Jewish majority within the Bolsheviks, within their leadership and the control of the movement, not only the philosophy, but the practical control. And it was in no way reflective of the Jewish religion or the broader religious Jewish population whatsoever. Or in fact, most of the Jews didn't even want to sign on to this. They were much more prominent even within other socialist sects. But the thing is they were represented in basically all of the...
Okay, so they were more prominent in other socialist sects. So
yeah,
he right now just needs to prove that it wasn't Bolshevik. But there was many other Marxist factions. And he's like, okay, so no matter what, James, still... even more, you're emboldening your interlocutor's point by still conceding that it was a large portion were Marxists. He's so focused on Bolshevism.
I would like to point out, right, that he is correct. There were particularly Orthodox Jews who were very, very against Marxism. In the same way, there were Orthodox Jews who were very, very against Sabbateanism. Okay, because
they were against Reform Moodyism.
Yeah, because they saw it like as a, as going against the law.
Yes, the Orthodox are against everything that's not Orthodox. That's what like Orthodox essentially is, right? Mind you, they were only started to be called Orthodox in like the fucking 19th century.
No, look, I'm just saying, right? Like for the sake of accuracy, right?
Yeah.
There was like serious conflict between the Orthodox Jews and the socialist Jews. And the Orthodox Jews are like, this is heresy. This is really, really bad. You're going to like, this shit's going to blow back on us. This is a fucking terrible idea. Same with the Sabbateans, right? The Orthodox Jews. But the thing is, like Sabbateanism, which eventually came to like encompass fully 50% of the European Jewish population, it gained like a mass movement, right?
Yes.
That was sort of another strain of Moodyism. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, right, but this is always the push and pull that they can have because they can always fall back on going, oh, okay, well, the Orthodox, I guess we're right. But then, the Orthodox will still, as long as their extreme part of the moves are leading to destabilization, they always seem to be kind of happy. As long as their crazies are leading that way. Okay, let's get into some math.
Different political orientations within Russia, even under the persecution of the Tsar. So it shows that the actual proportion, reliable historical data show that the Bolshevik party was somewhere above, slightly above the fact that they were 4 to 5% of the Russian Empire's population. And the primary reasons they became Bolsheviks when they did was because of socio-historical factors, not some...
Socio-historical. No longer socio-economic. It's now socio-historic. I've never heard that in my entire life. What the fuck is socio-historic?
Okay.
Ethnic
all right.
conspiracy like you might have in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which was used to kind of blame them for that since. Okay, so what are the facts? Let's look at party membership. I had to write this part down. So right before the 1917 February Revolution, if you don't know, there were 2 revolutions in 1917 in Russia, one in February, one in famously it's called October. On the calendar of today, it took place in November, but that's beside the point. On the eve of the 1917 February Revolution, Jews were 1.6% of the Bolsheviks. There were 364 exactly Jews out of about 23,000 Bolsheviks in the party. When we go 5 years forward into the Soviet Union, the 1922 party census showed 19,564 Jewish Bolsheviks. So that's a lot of Jews. Over 19,000 Jews have joined the party in 5 years, which is 5.21% of the total. But the the representation of the population was about 4% of the population, 5.2% of the total of the Bolsheviks. In the 1920s, Jews made up 15 to 20% of party delegates. Now there's your disproportionality for many mid-level technocrats and administrators. So the most educated minority in the population and the most likely to have office type jobs end up becoming mid-level technocrats and administrators at a
See, it's because they're so intelligent, okay?
Right. Because because they were out there canvassing, putting up posters,
doing it fair and square.
Right. Like that, that's the thing, right? Like it's just like no one in the Bolshevik party had more power than any other person because obviously they're communists. So, right, like every single person in the Bolshevik party was like equally equal. They didn't have like central committee or like any of that kind of like stuff.
Well, I love it how he's making your point where it's like, yeah, it's only 5% are moves, but he's like, but 15 to 20% were delegates. Oh, so in positions of power, and then he goes, that's where it's disproportionate. It's like, good, we're getting closer.
Disproportionate rate. So by the middle 1920s, you have 4% of the population or thereabouts is Jewish and 15 to 20% of the party. This is after they've already been in power for getting close to a decade, by the way, is Jewish. Now, when we look backwards to 1917, look at the leadership. The Jews had high visibility, but were not actually numerically way out of proportion. 5 out of 21, so that's about 20%, just short of 20%. That is disproportionate to the 4% of the population. But in December 1917, 5 out of 21 Central Committee members.
Imagine if 4% of the population was committing 20% of the murders. They would raise an eyebrow, I'd say.
Were Jewish.
Is there much more?
Prominent figures
Like,
included Leon
it's pissing me off.
Yeah, this is wrapping up in about 2 minutes, and then we'll do supers, and I'll send it to you.
Trotsky of the Red Army, Yakov Sverdlov, head of the state apparatus, Grigory Zinoviev in the Comintern, Lev Kamenev, and others in the Cheka and commissariats, although the majority were non-Jewish, including both Lenin and Stalin, but also Bukharin and others. So Jews, ethnic Jews in the broader governing bodies by the mid-1920s were about 6% of the governing bodies, while they were about 4% of the population. So slight disproportionality, but they had high visibility early on. They kind of mellowed as things went. By comparison...
Yeah, this is the 93% fallacy, where we're talking about where all the riots were happening, and they're like, but what about Wyoming? But what about the entire country, right? So he's doing, what about the entire party?
What about all the BLM protests that were like perfectly peaceful? Right?
This is the 93% argument.
93% of those protests were like perfectly peaceful. I don't know like what you're like why you're on about the 7% that were like, fiery and destructive. Oh, goodness me.
Jews were vastly more overrepresented within the less radical socialist groups and other groups. For example, they were 20% of the Mensheviks in 1907 versus only 10% of the Bolsheviks in 1907. So Jews were far more likely to not be Bolsheviks given options. More were Mensheviks. They also joined the Jewish Bund or something like that. I got to remember. Yeah, the Jewish Bund.
Or something like that. He doesn't even know about this is what I'm saying. He doesn't do any research at all whatsoever. And he's speaking off the cuff. He's speaking like he has a fucking gun to his head. He says the Bund or whatever that is. You can't edit that out. It's not live streaming. You can't, there's no editing to any of these. It's crazy.
He's talking about the Jewish Labor Bund, which was a very, very influential trade union movement.
Yeah, whatever that is.
That is still going today, actually. Well, a lot of them like went to Australia actually, like after, and nothing happened with them. Like,
I love hurting you. I'm only going to hurt you for a little longer. Hold on.
It's painful to listen to.
There's another party too. But the thing is that Jews actually stepped into all of the different political roles in society in different proportions, and they were not particularly overrepresented politically.
Yeah, they were just in, we'll end it there. They were just in all of the roles politically. That's how we're going to end that. They were just in all of the roles politically.
You bastard. You just enjoy torturing me with this shit, don't you?
I swear my mother raised me right. I just never listened to her. I can assure you of that. This is all my doing to myself. I'm sick and twisted. I'm a broken man, and I enjoy doing this.
Okay, right. So, super chats?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Soul on the Lich for 100 us.
Hey, man.
Thank you very much.
That money means a lot to you, so it means a lot to us.
That's a lot of us. Thank you, Solon. Ring bell and say, trick or I can't breathe while flopping on the floor. Just be careful and research your neighborhood to avoid Destiny or Vorsh style individual. Good advice. Good advice. Thank you very much. Frankensteak, $14. I want to live in a country so nice that we need to be racist to Italians and Irish just to feel that rush.
Right? Right? It's going to be until we have a pure, raw, crystallized white person.
That would be pretty nice.
Right? I want to live in a white community where I'm a second-class citizen because I'm Italian. That's my utopia.
New GM for $10. Hey,
and he's rocking everywhere.
Boys, I'm looking forward to listening to the show on my long drive. There is a chance my trans cousin will be riding my car. Might subject them to you two if that happens. Time to unbutter a kipper.
Yeah, you have to act like you have no idea what it is. Like, I don't even know what this is. Have you ever heard this? You just keep playing it. What's going on here? What are these guys talking about?
The YouTube algorithm just recommended it to me. I don't even know what this is. Yeah,
it's crazy.
King Spectre for $5. Thank you, mate. Are these Chaos to Shape posters also available at the Shape store? I remember those. Might grab one next time I buy blue dodecahedrons. We're working on it.
Look at his picture. It's an African American, and then what race is that from?
It's from Star Wars. It's
a race of a race.
Yeah, no, it's someone who took that picture of Don Quavius Wings or whatever his name was, Dontarius Wings, and then made it into. Thank you, mate. Torture Boy for $5. There's no such thing as goys lighting. You made that up because you hate us and secretly want to make us disappear because we're better than you. I mean, exactly.
It's high level. You're not noticing a pattern. You've just been told to see a pattern. Okay, well, yep. Jeremy, let's say there was a pattern. How would I tell someone there is a pattern? Then how can I do this without gaslighting someone, Jeremy?
Molokai, 6 months membership. Thank you very much. Hello, my fellas. Hello, Molokai.
Hello there, mate.
Sean Francis for $20.
Oh!
I think this guy's new. Welcome, sir. The Bolsheviks established the modern Russian Orthodox Patriarchate of Moscow to get the Orthodox in line with their statist movement. The Orthodox would then assist the Cheka and NKVD with hunting down Catholics. Yeah, I could believe that. I could totally believe that.
Very interesting.
They have a long history of subverting religion like that. Nice one. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Zafari, 3 months membership. Thank you, mate. Thanks for the amazing content. Looking into the pro-white space as a base black is forcing me to reflect harder on my worldview, and I welcome it. Mate, it must be tough being a base black guy at the moment.
Is he a based black? That's wild. So when I was doing the space on Frojax talking about race versus religion, he was contributing a good amount. I didn't even know he was black. See, that's what I want. I want the based nuns to hang out here. Where do you want them to go? They're just gonna go to a shitty place if it's not here. That's the main point that I'm making. What do we do with them? Well, I want their support. What are they supposed to do? Tell them to fuck off? Why? You need all the support you can possibly get, and it does. There's no political. It's not politically efficacious to say fuck you because you're black. It's like he didn't. What do you want? What are his options then? It's just gonna radicalize people to be against you. Is what it seems like, you know.
Well, welcome to the membership, Safari. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Lindsay's hands for $5. Even if they do control everything, it's a good thing. I wish
unironically
from Mizrahi, the rabbi, saying like,
yes.
What's the problem? We control everything. Like, what you're gonna look after the money? You just spend it on improving your country and stuff. What's wrong with you?
This is just a matter of public record. No one's making a joke right now. We covered this last stream. This is exactly what was said by a rabbi. Yeah.
New GM for $10.
And he's rocking everywhere, baby.
So James, you're saying the Grizzly Elves let the employee do the dirty work. Very interesting. I always thought the Goy beam was a laser, but in James's case, I'm starting to suspect a large piece of wood.
Yeah, they just get smacked over the head with it. It's not a laser.
The
blunt force Goy wood.
Leaf Man with a frying pan for $5. Thank you, mate. Only 4% of the pool water is poo. It can't be the poo's fault for making it.
You can't blame it.
And Christos for $10.
There he is, bruv.
Working with goblins brings goblins problems. Feel like
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? The math works out. That's math even James Lindsay can understand.
Super chats to share. Oh wait, hang on, we got another one. Just slid in at the last moment.
The Seki.
Molokai for 200 sex.
Get a load of him. Get a load of that guy.
That's a lot of sex. Thank you very much, Molokai. We will come back. The future is ours. Oh, that's nice. And
nice
to the chickens for $10.
Hello there, mate.
This is not a sponsor for the Elks Lodge. Have you considered visiting one and being part of your community? But more. I don't know what that is. But
do you know what an Elks Lodge is?
I think I've heard it. Isn't it like a fraternal organization?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Fraternal.
Well, I'm in favor of fraternal organizations. I mean, not the Freemasons because you're in a lot of weird.
Wow, you hate freedom.
Shit, but
Okay,
and
one more.
CSI for $5. Thank you, mate. Silence. Cease your attempts at mesignation. Also, these Lindsay segments are always good fun. His attempts to obfuscate are amazing.
Well, it's you. I need you to understand how difficult it is to make them enjoyable. So I really appreciate that. Okay.
It's painful, mate. It's fucking painful. Okay, right.
That's more sex. That's more sex than James Lindsay has seen.
So
Start her up.
we've got we got to cover the grape gangs.
Hey, I'll laugh us through it in a very respectful way. Okay.
Oh, there's no laughing about this shit, mate. There's no laughing about this shit.
At least let me try.
So, just a little aside. Andy Burnham has won the Make You Feel by-election. In case you guys were following, basic story on this is the Labour Party wants to replace Queer Starmer, two-tier queer Starmer the Llama Hama, because everyone fucking hates him. But of course, the agenda that he represents has to trundle on like a sort of grapey juggernaut, rolling all over all and sundry in its path. In order for Burnham to become the Prime Minister, he had to have a seat in Parliament. So they found a safe seat. They got the guy who was in there to yeet himself out, and they ran a by-election. And this was the first by-election that Restore had run in. They got 6.8, which was less than they were hoping, but they are at least a legit party. They absolutely BTFO'd the Conservatives, by the way, right? Which is the other sort of takeaway from this. The Conservatives got 2.2%. So AA's sort of prediction of 0 seats, it has basically sort of come to pass, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Labour won very, very handily. Reform came in second. Farage is all seethy now because Restore have basically stolen the based right-wing narrative away from him because quite frankly he wouldn't be based enough because he won't support remigration. So we're gonna see how that pans out. We do have this announcement from Starmer. I feel like you guys should all see this, right? It's very, very important that two-tier queer has the widest possible audience.
Mr. Prime Minister, this is getting out of control. There are far too many victims. You must do something.
I believe I have no choice. Call the press. I must take responsibility.
Today, I can no longer remain silent. I must be courageous in denouncing the ignominy that surpasses all the horrors humanity has ever known. So today, I speak out forcefully, and my hand will not tremble when it comes to punishing the guilty. Today, I denounce the terrible acts of racism perpetrated against the Pakistan community, and I say to the racists, Great Britain will not let you divide us. Thank you all.
Do you think if somebody watches that in the future, they're going to be confused because they can't imagine that it's actually literal?
Oh, God. It's just so fucking awful.
It's awfully literal.
So the Grape Gang report came out. It's horrifying. I still haven't managed to read much of it because quite frankly it just hurts my soul. We get it, right?
We get it. What more is there to learn? Okay.
But what has been very interesting is that there have been a bunch of mainly atheist mooish females coming out and saying, well, actually, right, it's not really that bad. Like, you know, what's wrong with you, right?
Why did you say they're mooish? They're atheists, okay? I don't know why you bring that up. Stop.
We still playing this game, are we?
Only to make you sad. I'm so sorry. I'll try to make you happy from now on.
This sort of like peaked in this video from this woman, Donna Rachel, who was originally involved in the Grape Gang inquiry. Basically was like, oh, we need to like make this report like proper. How about you pay me money, right? So she would have been on the inside. She would have had like a chance to like shape the narrative around it. And of course she wanted money, and all the other base people who were doing this for free, they were doing it like for the love of their country and for like the horrible things that had been happening, were like, no. And then she got all like bent out of shape. And this is her like shortly after it released, literally laughing. Like the lack of like empathy is just like, you couldn't like,
hey,
even if these criticisms were like valid, you couldn't think of like a more somber tone to like.
I feel like you're putting laughs in her mouth right now, okay?
Read the fucking room.
The Rape Gang Inquiry report is out. And I'm going to try not to laugh because it feels mean.
Oh, it feels mean. Oh, does it now?
So hold on, but what is the point of the laugh? Like, why are you laughing? Right? Usually if someone's like laughing, like someone farted off screen or something, so the laughing is just to dismiss it. Because as we're going to see, the Foids really have to dude, you have the worst women in your country in the West. I'm sorry. It's really rough.
When you say the West, what do you mean exactly? There
isn't
a West.
Pages. It's only just come out a couple hours ago. Okay, so this time last year, I went to Alistair Harrison, and I explained to him that in order for the report to stand up to scrutiny when it was released, it needed a proper methodology, and it needed a proper what do they call it? Terms of reference, okay? And that he needed somebody to create that, preferably with somebody with expertise. Although I said, I have some expertise being a journalist and having written reports. I was happy to do that kind of work, but ideally it needed to be somebody who actually had proper grounding in things like statistical analysis and research methods and all that kind of stuff.
Did it though? Like really? Right? Like this seems to me basically they just wanted to like hedge it, right? Because the truth was like too fucking awful. And it is true, right? The Grape Gang report is very much a political document, right? It's not like some like dry kind of like, well, actually, if you look at the statistics and no. It is meant to be like a punch to the gut to the UK establishment, and that's what it fucking is.
Right. So, I actually wasn't going to do it myself. I was going to find people who do know how to do that thing, but I was going to at least steer it because I know what's kind of meant to be there.
Oh, you're going to steer it, well, you love. That's fascinating. Really.
Wasn't she mad that she got booted from the group?
Mm-hmm. She did. She wanted paid, and I suspect that, okay, I don't know this for sure, but my suspicion is that she wanted to make it highly academic. This would have delayed its release time significantly, right? They would have like set terms of references and all this it would have just delay. And it's important that this comes out now. So, this obfuscate, delay, like, no, make it like highly academic.
Right.
The point is, right, it's supposed to be for the normies to read. Okay, this is a document for the common people so they can see how fucking horrible this is, not some fucking university paper.
Because Alistair Harrison said to me, we're not going to pay you. And I said, okay, but you still need someone to do all this stuff or you'll just get ripped apart. And he said, don't worry, we've got a lawyer on it who's going to write it for free. Now, it turns out that they did not have a lawyer on it to write it for free. They had Josh Firm, who's from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, not a lawyer.
Good guy, so I've heard, right? Like, what's he beef with the Lotus Eaters?
I know, right?
Like, they're not qualified, right? Like, oh, bitch, please, come on.
And Charlie Downs and Harrison Pitt, who I believe are also not lawyers. And so, as a result, they also haven't done their research either, because on page 11, for example, we find the following. In each of these areas, the same tactics were used. Girls as young as 11, ... were trafficked across county lines. County lines are phone lines.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
God,
So-
why on this topic would you find it appropriate to be smug? It's so tone deaf.
County line. Look, everybody understands what a fucking county line is, right? It is the border of a fucking county, right? She is mistaking it for a more common term that came into recent parlance, which is county lines drug gangs, right? Where they would like have like phone lines set up out into like, places outside the city, and they would like ship drugs from the city out to the thing. Like it's like the line of a county. The point is to demonstrate like how
Can you
widespread.
believe they wanted to kick out this fucking annoying twat? Can you believe that?
Oh my
How much
God.
he was like just completely halting production of anything productive?
What gets me right is just the nitpickiness of it.
Yes.
Right? He goes through 11 pages of like harrowing fucking testimony. It's like, well, actually, right? You use this like, oh, fuck me.
Right, yeah, dude. One of the victims is describing their story, and she's like, you used the wrong tense.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
And you don't even have to do a lot of digging to find that out, right? Literally, all you have to do is Google what is a county line, and it will tell you that county lines are the way that urban drug dealers get their drugs out into more areas. They have phone lines that people can call to get drugs. Those are county lines. So you cannot traffic somebody over a county line unless you're trafficking them over a phone line, which I guess is technically possible if you're also selling them on a phone line or via that phone, but that's not what they mean here, right? So if they haven't understood the basics of how the drug network works in this country, then they have absolutely no hope of understanding grooming gangs, because grooming gangs are criminal cartel enterprises. That is grooming gang. Right? It's a
Posit,
criminal gang.
it's
And
nothing
the
more
two
the
are very,
left
very
loves
closely
to
aligned.
do
You get-
than to tell you that you don't understand. You just don't
Oh, yes.
understand them. You don't understand the psychology. You just don't get it. They love saying that to you.
Oh, yes. The left, Ardy. Oh, yeah, that's the
I'm
issue.
doing it. Now I'm doing it. It's contagious.
She's not even technically like on the left, right?
Am I correct? She is.
007, right? Who's a man who would know, right? It's not even phone related. See my last comment. I can't find your last comment, mate. It's like too deep in the stack. Maybe you could like repost it.
Mhm.
It just refers to the movement of drugs and people in law enforcement, which is what I thought before. She was like, "Oh my god, actually, like it's
Oh,
about,
did
like,
she
drugs."
obfuscate something simple? Did she turn something simple into something complicated to obfuscate what's going on and then to be condescending about it? That's shocking.
Yeah, she's also paid by Reform, right? Who are the mortal enemies of Restore. So
Yeah.
there are like many reasons why Restore would not want her on this project, right? And if she was in, I mean, she herself said she wanted to steer the inquiry.
drugs, you get grooming gangs and vice versa. This is exactly what Alexis J was talking about in her 2014, 12 years ago, report on Rotherham, the really famous one that every.
Oh yes, the report which resulted in basically fuck all happening. You mean? Ah yes.
But that's
yes.
from the experts. But that was a formal report, right?
Right. Okay, hang on. Wait. Sever's got a quote here, right? Look, he's a good source on this, right?
Nice.
County lines are the drug routes and people trafficking routes. Crims say they are going cunch, as in traveling themselves with stock. I presume cunch is like short for country.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that sounds really rude, doesn't it? Right? Like,
I kind of like that.
put away your cunch. Like, punch you right in the cunch.
She looks like she has a
Oh,
punchy
God.
cunch.
Yeah, punchy cunch. Right. Thank you, Severed. Much appreciated.
really knows about, because that's what got this whole thing kind of off and running in the first place. Okay, so that was the report that came out of Andrew Norfolk's reporting, which obviously he started in 2011. He made a
Yeah. Turns out people were not happy with this for reasons of anti-Semitism. Yeah, right. Like that's the only reason. And she's like, no.
many people, all they had to see was just her laughing in the beginning, and that was it.
Yeah. She's like, no. I wasn't laughing at the survivors. I founded an organization dedicated to supporting survivors, which has done nothing, right? Which was basically a web page and 2 GoFundMe links, right? And if you were a survivor, you could pay her $5 a month to be, and supposedly she was going to take like recorded testimony from people, but there was like none of the like secure storage or any of the kind of like stuff that you would need to like take actual criminal evidence, any of this kind of like shit. But yeah, she's looking a little bit more.
But what was she
pensive now.
laughing at though? She was laughing at how contemptible these other guys are, is what she said. And it's like, oh, you couldn't contain your laughter, huh?
Mhm.
You just couldn't wait to talk down to other people.
By the way, we've seen this before, right? There's this really, really famous clip, I don't have it on me, of Isabel Oakeshott, who's like involved with Richard Tice, who's like one of the heads of Reform, right? After Rupert Lowe got booted from Reform, right? And she's like, poor Rupert, he just doesn't know like what he's doing. Yeah, well, who's laughing now, bitch? Right? Like, you know, yeah.
If you're going to attack somebody for not supporting survivors of grooming gangs, you might not want to pick somebody who literally founded an organization called the Survivors, which is dedicated to supporting survivors of grooming gangs. That is who I am. I founded it last year. We have two aims: support survivors of grooming gangs, investigate grooming gangs.
When you say support, what do you mean precisely?
She gets supported
You mean what?
financially from survivors.
You take their money, what, you give them counseling, like.
Do you have any proof of that, Fist? That she's taking money?
Yes, I do.
How convenient.
This is her website. I believe it's like survivors.org.uk or something like that. You can be a survivors membership.
Wow, bro.
Now, she's basically saying that the reason there's like a financial like thing is so that she can like verify people before they like join up. You don't want just like anyone like coming up and saying like, Sarah, I am a survivor. Sarah, can you please connect me to other people who have like suffered like the grape?
Well,
which, you know, I guess like,
No,
you know,
no. Maybe if this was like 15 years ago, but she just started this last year. Have you heard of anyone else having to do that to assist the survivors? That's weird. No one else has had to do that. No men have had to do that. No men have taken advantage of these women. Just this woman has. That's peculiar.
So she was kicked off the inquiry.
I can't believe that.
Yeah. So she was at one meeting. And
One
they were
and
like-
done. That's so
they were like,
believable.
get rid of her, right? They would
She
get rid of her.
stinks. She's not. I don't like. Nope. Not even close.
What's interesting, right, is that they basically said to Sammy Woodhouse, who's one of the survivors, like working with Lowe, right?
That she's been a prominent survivor for over a decade, right?
Right. And she's like, oh, you know, we can't just
she has a child by one of the Muzzies. And then on top of that, sorry everybody, but I did a video on it. And then on top of that, the UK was trying to give him rights to see the child. So that's what she has to go
and so
through.
they're like, so they want Sammy to record videos with the survivors, and she's like, oh no, it has to be done like carefully. You're presumably gonna need like a licensed therapist. That's gonna be like more money, you know. Like no. And one of the aides is just like, why? Just grab an iPhone and film them, right? Just do it, right? Like every single step of these things is so like laden down with like so much bullshit. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no. Look, just film it. Just right, like no one's forcing. You're not forcing these like girls to like give testimony, right? There's no indication that they rolled up on these survivors and like, hey, if you don't like
under duress or anything,
record this like under duress or anything. Like these are all women who want to speak about their experience because they've been like completely sidelined and ignored by the British state.
And especially when there's other women speaking up, it makes it much easier.
This is like her thing. Archive for Truth. Right. So, you know, supposedly they would have like had like an archive of like the thing, working on ethics and safeguarding policies for gathering the testimony. She explained that she would make sure that the work was done ethically with a methodology that would give robust results. So she would have been in control of the whole thing, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
She would have had veto on like, yes, we can interview this person. No, we can't interview that person. You can talk about this, so you can't talk about that. We can publish this. No, we can't publish that. So, yeah.
Where does the hubris come from where she was booted out and she's still trying to like swing her fucking dick around nowadays? Being like, hey, listen, like I made a website last year. I think it was in August of 2025. She made the fucking website.
And it would have taken a long time. and she would have needed to have been paid, right? And they're like, no, we're not doing it, because all the people like doing this, basically they're not being paid,
Right.
because right, they're doing it because it's important. Now she got, mate, not only did she get blasted by the general public, but she collected like a bunch of autists who are like sworn to destroy her now. Like, just like these people.
This is a topic you do not fuck with. And I
Dude.
shouldn't have to explain that to another adult that's also a female.
Yeah, but they weren't Mooish kids, were they?
That's a good point. I never thought of it that way.
If this had happened to just like 100 Mooish girls, right, we've never
100?
heard the end of it.
10.
Right?
And if they said it's because they were Moosh, are you fucking kidding me?
So yeah, she like set up like a GoFundMe. This guy got a GoFundMe like taken down. Apparently the site was like basically dormant. I don't know for sure, but it looks like it was sort of like set up and then I guess sort of abandoned. So, you know, she was like angling to get sort of in on the ground floor of the inquiry and guide it. And then, you know, it didn't like, you know, work essentially. Okay. So yeah, so just, you got a whole team of autists like going on now.
Oh, I wish I had that.
I just want to like play this, right? This is Emily Maitlis, also Mooish, talking to Rupert Lowe. This is not a new clip. This is from like back in the day, but just the same kind of
It's also not a new concept.
The sneering contempt from these people, right? Just it needs to be like pointed
Your
out.
voids over there, dude, are built differently.
When you say our voids,
what do you mean? Give me an inch. You're not even
you-
like their accents. Their accents, clearly.
Right. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
You don't
I
claim them at all.
thought the English didn't exist though. So I mean, you know, right? Like, so if the English don't exist, then I guess we have to go down to like ethnic identity. So what ethnic identity are we talking about here, Ardy?
You'll never get an answer to that.
I'm telling you that you are focusing on Pakistani grooming gangs because probably you're racist. I want to talk about grooming gangs. You've launched your own inquiry. Alexis J, who, as you know, spent 7 years on a child abuse probe, says she's very unhappy with the politicization of child sexual exploitation done, in her words, a very uninformed way. She's talking about you.
Well, she's welcome to her own opinion, as is everybody. You know, I believe in a Britain where everybody should be able to express exactly what they want to.
Why is it funny to
without
politicise child exploitation?
I don't have any problem. So she's welcome
I
to her
know,
own opinion.
but why is it funny?
But it's not funny. I mean, my driver for the rape gang inquiry is that having looked into
Pause it real quick.
which I think a lot
Don't
of
you love that? If he smiles for a second, okay, now that's as if he's laughing, but it's just her question. She asks an absurd question, and so he smiles. He's like, "Well, this is a ridiculous question, but let me try to answer it." But now he's smiling and now he's laughing. Why do you think it's funny? It's the level of attacking that goes on in your country, dude, is.
You know what it reminds me of? Did you ever see the queer video? Right? I think it was like on French TV. This guy was like talking about like, you know, certain people controlling like media and banking and stuff like that. And the guy interviewing him was like, you know, queer, who are you talking about? He's like, you know, he's like same kind of really intense expression.
Probably were blissfully unaware of.
No, I don't think they were.
So,
Andrew Norfolk,
that's
who's
your
the Times
opinion. That's your
reporter,
opinion.
who
But
did-
I've picked up the mantle, and as you know, I don't call them grooming gangs. I call it Pakistani rape
Yes,
gangs,
you
because
do.
95% of these people are Pakistanis, and very often from a particular part of Pakistan.
That's absolutely not
So,
true.
so
That's
it is true.
absolutely
It
not
is true.
true.
Ellie. But anyway,
No.
let's
From 2023, no, I'm going to tell you this.
Park that.
224 white grooming gang suspects were found compared to 22 Pakistani suspects. Why do you only talk about the Pakistani?
I'm sorry, dude. White grooming gang. Is that?
Yes. I mean, like, not only is that figure completely inaccurate, by the way, but also you have to realize that the entire British state at that point was literally like looking the other way. So you'd be like, you know, the thing that we are like using to observe, the instrument we are using to observe this thing is completely like absolutely broken. But have you thought about like trusting the figures from this completely broken instrument that you're like using to observe the thing? Like, oh God. Let's see. Look at her face. She's like so angry. Like, oh,
Face,
how
the
dare
nose.
How
That's a
dare you.
perfect nose to describe how she feels.
How dare you stand up for the horrors inflicted on white girls? Ugh.
Donny Greengas. That's police
that is
statistics
not-
from the Times.
I've now got on
It's
my
police statistics
if
from
you,
the Times.
If you look at my rape gang inquiry, which you asked me about.
No, I didn't.
20
I asked you
20
why you're insisting on
20,000
politicising child exploitation.
20,000 people have donated.
Pause it real
about
quick.
£620,000 now.
This, don't we think that we need to involve politics in this issue? I'm sorry. Without politics, what do we do about this? Doesn't it necessitate being politicized, this issue? Wouldn't you say? Are you? Hello? Fist? Are you here, Fist? Fist. Are you here? Here. I can't hear you. Hear you. I also can't play your video. Is he talking and I can't hear him? Anybody? Did they get him? Brick Cops got him. They got him.
We back?
Gone. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Go ahead.
We back. Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
You know, like the problem is if they make it political, something might actually be done about it. Right. And then they might like start looking at certain groups of people that have disproportionate impacts on stuff. And you know what happens after that? Hitler.
Dude, they fucking politicized plastic straws in my fucking country. Okay? Pretty sure we can politicize this.
Yeah, exactly.
That shows you the depth of feeling and concern amongst British people.
Doesn't it show you should be ashamed that you are making money off a re-exploitation
I'm not. I've given
of
money.
this
I've given
position?
money. I'm not making money. I've given money to it.
You must be making some kind of money off this. The fuck, dude.
I will make absolutely less than zero. I've given a substantial sum to it, as have other people who care.
Why are you doing this? Why are you just trying to
Because
talk
there
about
are victims,
Pakistani
no.
grooming gangs when there are 4 times, 8 times, and 10 times as many white grooming gang suspects?
Do you not think, Emily, there's an issue with Pakistani Muslims raping working class white underage girls? Do you not think there's an issue there?
I think
Are you telling me there's no issue?
appalling issue with grooming.
Are you?
How are you there, mate?
People doing anything, you know, you just have to like, you know, look at it in broad general terms. Oh God.
No issue.
Pakistani
Are you telling me
perpetrators.
there's no issue?
I'm telling you that you are focusing on Pakistani grooming gangs because probably you're racist and you don't believe that there are white perpetrators of the same crime. Can you deny that?
I am concentrating on it because it's a blot on our national history. It is
Isn't
not.
any
it
grooming
has
a
not,
blot
it
on
has
our
not
history?
been properly dealt with.
Isn't any
It has
grooming a
not been
blot on our
All
history?
lives
Why
matter.
let anyone
Didn't
else?
you know that? All
Yeah,
lives
yeah.
matter.
We can't focus on any particular.
Even though it was done explicitly because they're white, by the way. Yeah, do white
Yeah,
people
did
do
I?
it explicitly because the victims are white? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, did I drop out again? Oh, for God's sake,
Yeah.
what the fuck's going on with my internet?
Fine.
Sorry, chat. The goy beam, it's targeting me. I gotta dodge around in my seat.
You're getting too close. They're following you across the world.
My grooming gang inquiry. I have a victim who's working with us. I have a number of people who've been directly involved, and it's underway. And if you're suggesting I'm going to make any money out of it, that is completely wrong. I've given money to it.
So
Highly inappropriate to say that he's doing it for money.
now the funniest thing.
Oh, mate. It looks like you've cut out again. You may have to drop
Hang
down
on.
and come back up. If you want, yeah, I can play
Yeah.
something in the meantime if you want to drop down and
Okay,
come back
okay,
up.
I'll be back ASAP.
Yeah. Now, my fellow, see, we're pros here, fellows, okay? We got Owen Schroyer, and he actually talks about both of these things, oddly enough.
Are you guys seeing this? I mean, is this not like totally insane what we're witnessing today? The whole thing is crashing out. And now they're saying Trump has betrayed them. And now they're saying Trump has done a 180 on the campaign promises. I'm like, what is going on? Then there's Bongino. I mean, folks, this is crazy. And then I'm sorry, I can't help but wonder if it's connected. How can you blame me? I can't help but wonder if it's all connected. You get the Muslim gang rape report out of the UK. Oh, what magic timing. So you get this huge report out of the UK about these Pakistani Muslim grooming rape gangs. They claim 250,000 women were raped. 250,000. The whole thing is like, how is that even possible? But so, this is coming out today. Right. The timing couldn't be more convenient. And so this is coming out today. And guys, the pressure behind the scenes to make sure everyone covers this is insane. I've never seen anything like it. And it's so obvious what's going on. I wouldn't even have thought twice about it. And then I've got people saying, oh, you love covering Epstein. Why aren't you covering this? I'm like, where the hell have you been? This story is 10 years old.
Yeah, that must be super annoying to be like, oh, well, Owen, why aren't you covering it? It's not a new thing. It really isn't a new thing. It's like, oh, why aren't you like hopping all over it to get clicks on it? It's like, it's nothing new. I mean, it's like what I was saying to you, where it's like, how many of these stories would we like to listen to today? what exactly do you want to say about it? Like, yeah, it's about time something happens, and I support what's going on. You know?
Okay, so I'm back.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully I fixed it right. Okay, so
not a problem.
Okay, so
I got you.
This is the crazy thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So 250,000 is sort of at the moment like the accepted number based on like extrapolations. Okay. The truth of the matter is it's an atrocity, and no one's ever going to know like exactly how many girls were affected by this. Right.
Yes.
This is how atrocities work. This is how mass events like this work. Okay. Someone like picks a number, that number becomes a political force. Right. Exactly like the Holly. Right. It's exactly like the Holly. Okay.
Except true.
Now you're not allowed to like nitpick the 6 gorillion, okay? But suddenly, right?
No.
Like when it comes to this,
No, not a good mooish girl. No, don't do it, dude. 250,000 is so close to 270,000. Tell me she's not going to do it, Fist. Lie to me.
It's an insane report. 250,000 is not a credible number. You completely undermine your own point with this hyperbole. The malfeasance of perpetrators and those that were tasked with protecting the UK from them is bad enough. You don't need to lie like this. 250,000 is like 1 in 24 women and girls between the ages of 10 and 25 in the UK. This is over 50 years. By the way,
my God.
Okay, right? Like this is a long standing problem. It's not credible.
But why do the mooish women not want to believe this?
Well, because this would put their superior victimhood in serious danger.
That's demonic.
Yeah,
this is something of a beast.
So apparently the term that has been settled upon is the grape of England, right? But I was pushing to call it the English holly, because I think from a political perspective, this is a much better term. Okay,
100% of our audience supports your endeavor,
because you are essentially stealing valor, right? You are stealing victimhood status from the mooish community, and they are very resistant to that. Because look, right? Everybody knows, right? Atrocities can't happen to white people, right? It's white people do the atrocities, okay, right? White people are the ones they take all the blame, right? But nothing bad ever happens to them. Nothing bad has ever happened to like white people all through history. I mean, do white people even exist?
Well, hold on. Moos have a long history in the United States of using their NGOs and public power to support white people when they're being treated unfairly, okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, and again, what happened to believe all women?
That's never happened. What I just said has never happened.
I thought we were all believe all women, right? Women are powerful. All the feminists have said fuck all about this, by the way, right? Because there's no, there's no political power. There's no political power.
Hold on. This lost a lot of people as well. Feminism isn't a thing anymore. Have you noticed that? Once they started doing men can be women, there's no more women's rights. They don't really say that anymore. They don't really say... Once they made it pregnant person and not woman, they've dropped the feminist title, is what I've noticed. Like, ever since that happened, they couldn't even carry that term forward.
Then we have this other mooish individual dying on the hill of a small baby who was raped to death.
Okay.
After being adopted by a pair of homosexuals.
Well, yes. I hope they know that this is not helping the stereotype very much. I hope they know that.
This is literally the UK in any day that ends with Y.
Yeah.
Right? This shit is constant. Okay. For a while, it was every year. Then it was every 6 months. And it's every week. Now it's every fucking day. Soon it'll be twice a day. Then 3 times a day. right? Like it's
now
only getting
imagine
worse.
that you started laughing because you thought somebody was stupid and got something wrong. Imagine how much of a fucking retard you'd have to be.
So Matt Goodwin, right, who, you know, was instrumental, by the way, in like making sure that the BNP didn't get in power because, oh my God, we have to like fight Mustache Man. I keep like tweeting at him being like, so do you regret like fighting the BNP now? Because, you know, if the BNP like got into power, none of this fucking shit would be happening.
Oh,
right?
I bet he loves that.
Oh, yeah. He won't answer me, of course. David Aranovich works for the BBC. Of course he does. Of course he does, right? He's like, why this guy in particular, right? Like, oh, what is it you want? You want a death row, like electric chair, firing squad? Yeah, any of the above is fine. Like, really, I'm not fussy.
Yeah,
right?
really a deterrent. You know how sometimes they use a white person as an example, like Kyle Rittenhouse, Nick Sandman, you know? Maybe make an example out of him. Something that was much more egregious. Possibly. I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
So let's have a little look at Mr. Aranovich. Defending white interests can never be right. Okay, good to know. However, the Moorish community are very, very frightened by the events in Gaza. They feel attacked and frightened right now, right? Not that the white community would feel in any way attacked and frightened by like anything going on.
I don't know how. My life is so easy.
Right? I mean, you know, like, look, you know, do whites even exist, bro, after all?
Yeah, you're not letting that go, are you?
It's fucking like messed up. There's like other stuff been going around. Some of the girls in the inquiry are being like hassled by like Muslim accounts on like Twitter. You know, basically being like, you loved it, like blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna like show these because they're just too fucking like horrible.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to learn anything additional if that happens.
Yeah. 007 Dial Square is our friend. Yes, he is. Actually, I just want to like shout out Dial Square. He's a good follow.
Dude, let me read this. I have to read this, okay?
Okay.
So now this is the rhetoric. Is he British?
I think so. Yes.
The way that they explain these things, I think we can all take a page out of, okay? He doesn't call him an F slur, okay? They have a way about speaking, and I said this about Frank Wright at the same time. Connor Tomlinson has a way of putting things this way as well. I mean, this is graphic, but he goes, allow me to consult my notes here for a moment. Anal and oral rape of a baby resulting in his death by a manipulative homosexual is a really great hill you've chosen to die on. And my goodness, you had your fair share of summits over the course of your pathetic existence. Bravo. The way that you guys are able to position things like that, rhetorically, is unbelievable. It's dry. It's to the point. It's cutting.
Epic post. Okay,
absolutely.
Right. Okay, so like enough of that. There's only like
no.
So
let's focus on that the rest of the time.
There's only so much I can fucking take. Let's do some super chats.
Sure.
And
let's get the fun stuff. Let's get to Israel finally. Getting some sort of mud slung at them.
KvetchCon.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
This is KvetchCon. This is the first KvetchCon of this proportion.
Dillweed for $5, worse than the Holly by a long shot. Well, I agree.
Sir.
But that's very, very anti-Semitic for you to say that, I'm afraid. Molly for 20 secs. Thank you very much. Today is Midsummer. Celebrate. I will.
Middle of summer over here.
Master Shake for $5. Thank you, mate. Gabians and Pakistanis.
I love Pakistanis. Well, not them as people, but the name.
Deep Calm, put in, boys.
Why there, you miff?
Thank you very much. This Snaggletooth spinstress Yenta, very obviously just a busybody subversive who wanted to see the report fail. Wait, I need to play a thing.
Stinky
yentas?
Well, tag team action.
Yes. Thank you very much, Deep Calm. I totally agree. And I think honestly they must be like seething that they didn't get anyone on the inside. for this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're like, oh my God, right? Like, you know, people are actually figuring out what the fuck's going on. Solon the Lich for 100 us. Thank you very much, mate.
And that is what he needs, baby. He needs that ass, boy.
There was not 250,000 white girl victims because there's no white culture, you see. And now stop arguing and sell me those extra small sets of lingerie. Average empathetic lefty.
There is no moderate left.
Yeah. Yeah. Zafari for another $5. Thank you very much, mate. There were so many moves from all sides counter-signaling the inquiry on X. It was bizarre. 250,000 over the decades is unbelievable. But the Holly, yeah, precisely. Precisely. But what about the Harley? Bobby B for $5. Thank you, mate. The most racist Whoites aren't half as racist as any other group on Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
For real. King Spectre member for 4 months. That's demonic, says Ardy. Well, yes, because it's a demon saying.
Right between the eyes with that one.
Yep. Zafari again for another $5. Thank you, mate.
Well, thank you, bruv.
Politicizing huge state failures is good, actually. Plus, Lamau at Moose thinking cash is the sole motivator for action. Not even we ANCAPs think this. Yeah, it's weird. It's totally like, how are you supposed to make money off this political cause?
Right.
Idea, like, we're just doing it, like, you know, fucking hell, man. James Lindsay's hands for $5. Going mask or gloves off for a second. Thanks for doing this show, gents. Oh, you're welcome, mate.
Thanks for hanging, bruh. It's not always easy, but, you know, it wasn't easy for the victims of these things, so I'm glad that you guys are sticking around for it.
Frankensteak for $10.
Oh, there, mate.
Every time Fist drops out, I imagine his internet is fine, and instead he just has a blue laser on his forehead and he's slack jawed and drilling in his teeth. Yep. Yep, that is an absolutely true thing. Yeah. Leningrad for $5. Remember the Sam Hyde quote, and they think it's funny. Indeed.
When we win, do not forget that these people want you broke, dead, your kids raped, and brainwashed, and they think it's funny. Absolutely, feller.
An ancient hybrid for $10.
Oh, yeah, bruv.
Thank you very much. My organization relies on your people being exploited and controlled. Why don't you like me?
Every time. Every single time.
Good
you just
question.
Never know why.
Have you considered exploiting them harder?
I know,
to get them to like you?
but that's the thing is that, like, with blacks, I don't think the blacks know. I think the Moos know, but the blacks actually don't have the IQ to understand why people don't like them. I don't know. Or it's just a cognitive bias of pure ego. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's clearly not all blacks. This is why ninja has to be a word, right? Because you can't just like tar like all black people with this brush, right? Because I've met a whole bunch of them, right? You know, they've got like jobs, they're like relatively decent people. I mean, I find them a bit annoying after a while because they're so rambunctious, okay? But they're not going around like just, you know, killing people randomly and stuff like that. It's unfair. It'd be like if there was no word for like, you know, those woke like white tards who going around and like trying to do like a heckin' wholesome like tranny communism or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
don't you want to alienate all of them, even the good ones? Isn't
No.
that politically
No,
efficacious?
I don't. No, I don't.
Right.
I don't.
I
I'm
couldn't
sorry.
agree more.
Like,
Yes.
right, like call me like, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna lose my
cuck, whatever it is.
Whatever. Like, fuck off, right? Okay, right. So we are now on to our last segment, which is about
yeah, baby. It's your
the
favorite.
war with Iran, or the peace.
Yeah,
the
fellas.
horrible peace in Iran. Oh my God, peace is breaking out. The sky is like falling. We still haven't killed everybody in Iran and Lebanon yet. This is literally another show.
Let's get Fist in a good mood over here, and he can talk about geopolitical violence. Okay.
Well, that is one of my specialties. Yeah, I mean,
it is, and you're damn good at it.
Thank you very much.
Actually, are you going to be talking to somebody soon?
I am. I'm going to be talking to Oren McIntyre on Wednesday.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm moving up, bros.
The man's in the United States, all right, for a few days, and he's already moving and shaking. Okay.
That's how I roll, maybe. That's how I roll, baby.
If that is his real name.
Yes, if that is what.
Oh, dude, you gotta find out if it's his real name, dude. Check his ID, dude. You gotta find out.
So yeah,
Anyways.
so that'll be fun. I'll probably be talking about the damage to the UK government's legitimacy in the wake of the Great Gang report, and just sort of like what happens to a country when the state like just starts dying.
Bro,
and
political theory with Oren McIntyre. Oh, I'm so fucking pumped.
Oh, I know, it's gonna be fucking awesome. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So there was a piece signed. We covered it on the last show. They like signed the memorandum of understanding, and Trump was at the G7, and he was remarkably frank about what the fuck was like going on. And so what this seems to indicate is that they knew all along this couldn't be sustained forever. My suspicion is that Trump said to Adelson and to Netanyahu and stuff like that, okay, we'll back you for this thing, but it has to be over by June. Okay, midterms are coming up in November. You need like a few months to like pivot back to, we're America first and all this kind of like other stuff, or we're going to get absolutely destroyed in the midterms. We want another term with the Republicans with like Vance. So we got to call like a hard limit on this. Of course, though, it's the Israelis, right? So, they don't honor like any agreement. So, the way it works is they'll get you into this situation. And then when you're like, look, you agree to like stop it by this date. And they'll be like, we can't, right? And they probably don't even acknowledge that they promised something earlier. They're just like, yeah, but what about the 6 quadrillion? Oh, imagine having to deal with these people, right? So check it out.
But it's been an amazing partnership. But he will say, we're the big partner and he's the very small partner. And that's true. So happened, Israel would have been blown away. And in all fairness to Bibi Netanyahu, who happens to be a good man, gets a little excited sometimes. But he happens to be a very good man. We've had an amazing partnership. He's been an amazing prime minister. We have a little dispute over Lebanon. I say, you can do a little softer touch, Bibi. You don't have to knock down a building every time somebody walks into it that's from Hezbollah. But so
I'm sorry, boss.
he came to the country.
That is how politics sounds to me, and that's how I would have said that.
Yeah,
knowing the very little amount that I know. Hey, maybe you don't get to knock down a building every time someone makes you a little cranky. This is the Trump I like.
So apparently Trump is basically very, very angry that they were like on the edge of signing the deal. And Lebanese Hezbollah drone, allegedly, right, landed in like a field somewhere in Israel. And then the Israelis responded by like missile striking an apartment block in Beirut and collapsing it. Now, if you're familiar with the way that the Israelis like tend to wage war, they like to do this kind of stuff, right? If there's like someone that they want to kill, they're like happy to collapse like an entire building. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, right? And I don't know, like Trump is starting to get like annoyed, or look, I don't really know what's going on but behind the scenes, right? This could all be bullshit. Okay, this could be like, maybe they agreed in the back room. Shit's getting a little bit dire.
Hey,
Everyone's
you
saying,
wouldn't want to fall for it again, would you?
Yeah,
You wouldn't want that award, would you?
Maybe like, they're doing internal polling and they've suddenly realized that literally everybody thinks that like Trump is like cucking to Israel and they got to pull it back, but they've like, they're going to restart it after the midterms. I do not know. I am not privy to this stuff. I'm analyzing it from the outside. So take it with a grain of salt. This is just my own analysis on what's going on. Just want to be clear on that.
He begged Barack Hussein Obama, the president, not to do the JCPOA. He said it could be the end of Israel, and it would have been if I didn't come along. And Obama didn't listen to him. Bibi actually went to Congress and pleaded with them, and he got nowhere. And they had this horrible deal that was horrible for Israel, They've been a good partner. Again, I think they could do better with respect to Hezbollah.
I think they could do better. The mildest criticism you could literally make, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you just do a little bit better? Maybe like don't keep striking like apartment buildings because you're like after some guy who may or may not be there. I'm genuinely curious whether they actually haven't realized like what these people are like, right? They don't care what you think, right? From their point of view, they'll kill as many people as they want to, right? Like it's not your, right? Like who are you to like see that we can't like blow up apartment blocks in Beirut? We'll blow them all up, right?
Yeah, it's almost like saying to a trans person where I'll respect your pronouns, but I do believe that you were biologically born a male.
Yeah.
That's how good it'll go.
Yeah.
Saying they shouldn't protect themselves. I'm saying when 2 drones are shot into the desert and drop harmlessly, you don't have to knock down buildings in Beirut. They could behave better. And frankly, they could do a better job. I love them as a partner. They were terrific, but they could do a much better job with Hezbollah. On that, I don't. But
So, right, mild criticism. This is Trump basically admitting, I think this is the one, that like they're nearly out of fuel, right? And this is the real reason it's got to stop.
also, we run out of reserves in about 4 weeks. You know, there are reserves all over the world, and we would really run out. And there'll be a time when you wouldn't be able to get it. And you want to see bedlam? Also, we run out of reserves.
Now, this is absolutely true, okay, right? At the moment, the oil price has been sort of contained through, I probably in 5 years, like someone will write a book on like sort of the massive like operation that was done to like make this like happen. But the strategic petroleum reserve is like running out, and soon if it runs out, it won't just be a matter of price. You'll start getting failure to deliver, and failure to deliver is when there's just no oil, right? It doesn't matter like what price you like pay for it, right? Because it doesn't matter how much money you've got, there's just no oil, and shit is going to hit the fan if that happens, right? So Trump is just like, look, man, you know, this is hilarious as well. Many people were like pointing out over the years that one of the problems with the US like sanctioning everyone in the way that they do is that it's going to encourage people to move to alternate global monetary systems, like most notably the one that China and Russia are like putting together. They've already got like an alternate version of SWIFT, and like China's trying to position the yuan as like an international currency. And everyone was saying like, listen, this is a tool you've got to like use very, very sparingly, because if everyone thinks like, oh, you know, some shit might kick off on my border and all of a sudden all of my money like it's in the banking system gets like frozen, no one's going to want to use the US dollar.
Though, what the difference is between giving Iran US dollars and unfreezing US dollars.
Well, the unfreezing, that's an easy one to answer. We have taken a lot of their money.
Just that admission in of itself, right? Because the Israeli position would basically be like, no, you don't understand, they're bad people, so it's our money.
He's not really couching his language or obscuring what he's saying either. It's pretty unmistakable.
Yeah.
Taking their money. It's not our money. It's their money. And we froze it. At a certain point in time, I guess we're going to have to give it back. You know, if we didn't give it back, nobody would ever invest in the dollar again.
Precisely. Right? If you freeze like someone's like currency and then you just like freeze it in ad infinitum, you've just taken it.
If you took their money, because I thought about it, you know, I'm not the most perfect person. I said to Scott, why don't we keep their money? What the hell are we giving it back to? You know, people from lots of nations, some nations we don't agree with, they have their money. The dollar's become very strong under me. And they don't want to have a little conflict with somebody and end up having the United States just take their money. So if you do that, you really don't have a system.
Yeah, precisely. I think this is probably also being a bit like spurred by the Gulf countries. So in case you didn't know, the Gulf countries invest, basically it's the backbone of the petrodollar, right? You can only buy and sell oil in dollars, and the dollars that are generated are generally put into US treasuries, right? US bonds. And if the US starts fucking around with the Gulf countries too much, they can like threaten to say, well, instead, you know, what if we like started selling oil in yuan or, you know, some other currency?
And so I think what we've seen is, you know, President Trump has taken an off-ramp. Maybe he was tired of all that winning. The question is this off-ramp to a rest stop, which seems the most likely thing? Is it to some kind of destination, or is it to some kind of dead end? And the challenge he has is he's really put himself into a corner over the last few weeks that's going to be very hard to get out of.
And you don't think he can restart the war? Because that is an option, right?
It is an option, but my sense of this has been that the president has had two guardrails on what he's done. Markets and munitions. Very sensitive to markets, understandably. Price of oil, gasoline, natural gas, fertilizer, the bond market, the stock market, et cetera. That's one guardrail. The other guardrail has been munitions, our supply of both offensive and defensive munitions. And these, in some cases, are significantly depleted, such that our deterrence is diminished, including with regard to China. But the other problem is this, Fareed. You can have a tactical success, which on one level, clearly we've had. The military, as always, does a brilliant job prosecuting its target lists, doing remarkable things. But you have tactical success and strategic failure, or at least strategic setback, because what are we left with?
Yeah. So you can win the battle but lose the war is basically that's Blinken. He was Secretary of State under Biden. So this is the signing of the treaty, the agreement, the MOU in Versailles. Trump was basically there for like the G7. They didn't sign it face to face because of the danger that the Israelis would try and like kill the Iranian negotiators. And, the Israelis have like a long history of this. So instead, he signed a version and the Iranians signed a version and they just emailed it to each other. See, here's the Iranian version being like signed. So they didn't have to actually like meet physically. So the Israelis couldn't like drop a missile on them or, oh my God, suddenly there's a Ukrainian terrorist attack. Who could have possibly seen such an outcome?
I can't believe two enemies would unite in their disdain of Israel.
Oh, can you imagine fucking dealing with these people? I mean, this is the general sense that I get, right? And Trump has sort of made comments to this effect, right? That the Iranians are at least honest negotiators, right? Like when they say they're going to do a thing, they do it, right? For right or wrong or whatever.
Whereas it's all you ever ask for.
Yeah. Whereas with the Israelis, like you just got no fucking idea like what's going to happen. You agree to like a thing and then they like, do the opposite because they don't feel like they're beholden to like having to agree with anyone. So the Strait of Hormuz opened up again very, very briefly. And then Israel attacked Iran. Attacked Lebanon.
Lebanon, yeah.
Right. And now apparently, last I read, Iran has like canceled the negotiations that were going to take place in Switzerland and has closed the Strait of Hormuz again. I don't know. This is an evolving story. So just FYI, stuff like might have like changed. This is very, very highly fluid at the moment. Also, this apparently is very interesting. Trump apparently now doesn't just take whatever Netanyahu says. He like will ask people like, be like, is that true? And this like,
that hits different.
Yeah. When they stop like trusting everything you say, it gets significantly difficult. Now, the seething has been hilarious. Okay.
Wait, so Mark Levin isn't just like taking this and bowing out and be like, oh, okay, I understand how things can change okay.
No. Surprisingly, all of a sudden, they've turned on Trump, right? All the people, it's almost like they only really have like one interest and they pursue that one interest relentlessly. And if you support that interest, you're their best friend. And as soon as you go against that interest, you're their worst enemy. Imagine being people like that, huh?
I would just advise those who are in Washington and in a bubble who go to mostly friendly media that this is not set well with many patriotic Americans, many Republicans, many conservatives, many people in MAGA, and diehard Trump supporters. It hasn't settled well. I have better access to the public view than most people do. And I can tell from the past several weeks, it's victory that you wanted.
It's victory that you wanted. What does that victory look like, Mr. Levin? Oh, when they've glassed Iran, basically, right? Like when the whole country is like reduced to like rubble, then we will have victory. What about the effects on the US and the rest of the world? Yes, but I don't live in the rest of the world. They're so fucking cavalier.
It's but. Everything's but.
It's insane.
And when I've been briefed, I've been told basically that we can't achieve it for 4,000 different reasons. We've had very difficult wars with very difficult enemies, different kinds of wars. And there have always been ways to win them to victory. So we can't have woke right types going on and on against forever wars, and yet so many of them are responsible for them.
Oh, it's the woke right. That's the problem. Let me guess. It's Tucker Carlson that lost the war, right? Not running out of missiles or fuel, right? Or fuck me. It's so retarded. It's like they just think like wars are just like fought with like wishes, Oh my God. What's going on?
I don't want a forever war. Iran wants a forever war. I feel it's time to end this once and for all. Well, my view has not won out, has it?
Again,
you made Mark Levin sad, Trump.
Yeah,
proud of yourself.
But you know who made him really sad?
Who?
JD Vance, right? Vance has been not loving Israel enough. Wait, I gotta play the thing.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it?
Oh, it's Oy vey.
It's the Oy vey one?
You're not loving Israel enough. You don't worship Israel enough.
Into our next segment.
I want that like clip where he's taking the piss out of like Crenshaw. It's like, "Arr, can you please spare some money for Israel?
I'll have to get that for next week.
There be treasure in Israel." Fucking love that one.
So why would we pick a fight with Israel? What is going on? They out of control?
By the way, when he says picking a fight, right, he means concluding a peace treaty and mildly criticizing. Right?
Dude, I noticed this. This happens a lot with lolcows, where if you criticize them, they phrase it as attacking them, beating the shit out of them. Yeah, it's over a complete hyperbolization of a very small thing.
It's like the way he's talking, you think like the Americans dropped a missile on fucking Tel Aviv or something.
Is the prime minister an issue? Well, they weren't out of control, and he wasn't an issue last June when they cleared the field for 12 days in Iran. And they weren't out of control, and the prime minister wasn't a problem when we decided to go to war on February 28th. As I recall, our great Secretary of War and our great head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Hegseth and Kane, they had daily press conferences talking about the great achievements of our military side by side. In fact, talking about like they've never done this before. We've never seen anything like this.
Can you imagine being with these people in the fucking battlefield, right? Like if they were like in control. I think this is one of the reasons why the communists like were the way they were, right? You go up to like the general and you're like, "Sir, we're out of ammunition," right? Or we've lost like 20,000 soldiers, and the general's just like, "Well, I don't care," right? Like like what about the glorious purpose, right? Like figure it out. It's like, well, we've got no ammunition. Well, that's not my problem. Like it's like a classic kind of like that sort of attitude.
Just before. Now, 3 months later, Netanyahu is a crazy F. He can't be restrained because Hezbollah is firing missiles and flying drones into their country on a daily basis under what's called a ceasefire. And they're literally having to move their population, depopulate northern Israel. Now that's like depopulating northern New Jersey.
Okay. This is an amazing clip. Okay, so this is the head of the Zionist Organization of America, right? Mort Klein. Okay, the ZOA is a really old fucking organization, if I remember correctly, right? Had a bunch of names, been around for a long time. What I want you to like have a look at is the facial expressions of the hosts, because it seems to me like they're getting move fatigue, right?
Yes.
Like my body language read off these guys is they don't believe him.
Now, definitely listen to Fist and pay attention to their faces, but also listen to the noises this fucking moo makes. Whenever he talks, he's made an appearance on the stream before, okay?
Yeah.
This deal that what we know about, Donald Trump is saving this Islamic Nazi regime in Iran. Almost all the benefits are accruing to Iran. It ends sanctions on Iran. It ends the blockade on Iran, which enables them to make tens of billions of dollars now. That allows other countries to invest up to $300 billion in Iran to rebuild it. It releases tens of billions of dollars in U.S. banks to Iran, and it stabs our greatest ally in the back, Israel.
The stab in the back narrative.
What's that? What's the stab in the back narrative?
The stab in the back narrative. Like I think I mentioned it earlier. It's like why the Snazzy said that Germans lost World War I because of the Balfour Declaration, right? We would have won World War I, but we were stabbed in the back, right? And this when you learn about Snazzy Germany, right, from like a sort of like normal source, they always talk about like how this is a complete lie and just like German cope and all this kind of like stuff. And they're like literally just pivoting to it like seamlessly with zero historical awareness. Hilarious.
Northern Israel is now a ghost town. Nobody can live there because of the Hezbollah missiles. Israel has got to stay there to stop these missiles and destroy this terrible terrorist group. And that now we go into a 60-day discussion.
Look at the face. It's just like,
I know it's with his very panicky energy juxtaposed with their like, yeah, you don't say, yeah.
No, you don't say. Oh, that's amazing.
Without any leverage. And this deal right now says nothing about the intercontinental ballistic missiles, which would be aimed at the United States of America and Europe. It says nothing about funding and arming terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. It says nothing about inspecting the nuclear facilities, and the missiles are not being destroyed. They're on the verge of collapse, and we just saved them. And if they don't agree to this, we have only one ability to try and stop them, and that is to go back and destroy more of their facilities in Iran so their regime collapses. And that's what the Iranian people want. 81% want America to be much tougher on Iran, especially after they massacred 45,000 protesters, 45,000 protesters in the street.
I don't know, man. That number sounds a bit low. I heard it was like 80,000 or 100,000. Like, oh my God.
And now we're giving them this incredible funding.
Right. Well, obviously a lot of discussions are going to be had.
Yeah, wrap it up, Mort. Now,
hold on, I'm not done.
I have more kvetching to do. So this is Miriam Adelson's newspaper, Israel Hayom. This came out. You could have been the greatest president of all, but you failed us. Mr. President, you have greatly harmed the human interests of the enlightened world. Like, look at the language of this, right? They are the humans, you are not. They are the enlightened world, you are not, right? And you may be remembered forever as the president who brought about America's humiliation, right? You betrayed us, the Israelis, and in a single moment, the contempt you once faced suddenly seems so justified and logical, right? So, yeah, as soon as you go against their interests, you're the most evil person that ever lived. This is an amazing post. This is from Itmar Ben-Gvir, who is, he's high up in the Israeli government. I don't read moon runes, but I have never seen this on a post before, right? This post violated the X rules. However, X has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the post to remain accessible.
That's a new one, dude.
That is a new one, right? And this guy is like straight up genocide posting. Just, you know, right? For every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep. All of Lebanon must burn. I thought you were at war with like Hezbollah. I thought it was like, we don't have an issue with the Lebanese. We're just at war with like Hezbollah. No, they're not. They're at war with fucking Lebanon.
Whoa. It's not all of them. It's just one of them. Okay? It does not matter how high ranking they are.
Right. Because if you think about it, Ben-Gvir is a very small minority. Right? They're like,
yeah,
what?
there's
like,
only one Ben-Gvir.
Yeah, look,
very small. It's one. It's a very small minority.
There are 7 million people in Israel, right? Ben-Gvir is such a small minority, right? Like, how can he possibly have any influence? Fucking hell.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because
of how stupid it is.
With all due respect to the Americans, Israel must make it clear to the entire world that the blood of our sons and the security of our citizens are not forfeit. All of Lebanon must burn. He said it twice. Our supreme duty is to protect the citizens of Israel and the soldiers of the IDF, and this commitment takes precedence over every other consideration. So in order to defend Israel, they must literally glass Lebanon, and then Iran, and then Turkey, and then like, you know, I don't know, like, you know, once they fucking glass Turkey, or figure out like who to glass next. Like, these people are insane. I told the Prime Minister, even at our private meetings, for every tear of an Israeli mother, 1,000 Lebanese mothers must weep. So this is like for every Israeli who dies, 1,000 Lebanese must die, right? Enough with the ping pong. In the Middle East, you don't win with measured responses and restraint. You need to go berserk to obliterate, to crush the terror. Okay? Very, very reasonable people we're like working with. Now, JD Vance has been basically on a press tour. He's been doing the podcast circuit, presumably coming out sort of anticipating what's going to like happen in response to the deal. This is a bit long. Got to play the whole thing.
Okay. There is another country in the Middle East that thinks of itself as having a very intimate knowledge of the Iranian regime.
Yeah.
Not just the Gulf states. That's Israel. I don't think this deal is popular in Israel right now. I don't think you're an especially popular figure in Israel today. We'll see where things are in 6 months. And one perception I think that people have after watching this war unfold is that there is a certain misalignment maybe between the kind of pragmatic American interest that you just described the president having and the more existential sense of the stakes that Israel has. And one key criticism of the Obama deal from people in the Republican Party, people in Israel, elsewhere, was always that it was focused on the nuclear program and wasn't focused on Iranian proxies, their support for terrorism around the Middle East, their support for Hezbollah and Hamas. So I'm just curious, do you think there's a misalignment between the US and Israel? Do you think Israel has incentives to not want this deal to continue? And is there a vision for how you get to a point where Iranian support for Hezbollah isn't sending rockets into Israel on the regular?
Well, what I'd say here is that it's clear that large segments of the Israeli political system and population are very sensitive about this deal. But I also think they're picking up on some misinformation about the deal and running with it and sort of panicking about it. And I fundamentally believe this deal will be good for the entire region and for the world. That includes, of course, the Israelis. Now, I think it's important to say that while I do believe that this deal will be good for the entire world, fundamentally, we're worried about what's in the best interest of the American people. And to the extent that, and I think the president has shown this, where he sees misalignment between.
So suddenly they're back to America first. Okay. So I think this was the plan. Wrap the war up, right? Go back to like doing the America first thing, go back to like deportations, all that kind of like other stuff, run up to the midterms, right? Everything's like cushy. But now, of course, the Israelis are like creating problems. I can't seriously believe that they didn't think this was going to happen. So
you're right.
Yeah. So what I'm wondering is what leverage they have behind the scenes. But it won't be behind the scenes because as soon as the Americans do anything, the Israelis will announce it publicly and be like, "Oh my God, it's another show, right? Like they're threatening us." So I don't know. This is a very like crazy fucking like position to be in.
The goals of the political system in Israel and the goals of the American people, he's willing to say that we're going to pursue America's interests where there are divergences. So there are certainly going to be disagreements from time to time. I think that's normal. I will say, I don't know, maybe I've missed this. I don't think Bibi himself has actually criticized the deal because I think he's maybe a little bit more familiar with the details of what's in it. But yeah, you've seen people in their system, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, who've attacked the deal. And I guess my response to them would be, what is your exact proposal? And you're a country of 9 million people. You can't just kill your way out of solving every single national security problem that you have.
Has he been watching the stream? That sounds like something that like you would say in like a mocking tone. Where did that come from?
JD, look, mate, if you're watching the stream, if you're a fan of the stream, it's great to like have you. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone.
Keep those thoughts inside your head, JD. You can't say that.
Or another way of looking at it is he's speaking the truth. I'm also speaking the truth. Therefore, those two like
some parallel thinking. Others have access to the same truth. I'm listening. Okay.
Yeah. Amazing how that works, right? Like reality has an independent existence, like regardless of like your opinion on it. I know this is a radical idea that I like just come up with. So this is just like, trying to look, yes, we know you guys are hysterical. I guess, yes, we know you're the chosen people, yada, yada, yada. But at a certain point, right, you have to like have contact with reality. And the Americans as well are probably like, listen, if this keeps going on, right, like not only will America get fucked over, but Israel might get completely glassed. If the Americans run out of missiles, interceptor missiles and stuff like that, there's going to be nothing to protect Tel Aviv. And then the Iranians will essentially have like complete air superiority, and they don't want that.
Look at what we've accomplished. First of all, Americans have protected a lot of Israeli lives through our missile systems and through our missile programs over the last few months.
Yes, but what have you done for me in the last 5 minutes?
We have destroyed their nuclear program. We have got the Iranians in a point where they're offering things, again, whether they'll actually act on them, we'll see, but they're offering things that would have been the stuff of dreams even 6 months ago. So let us play this negotiation out. Let us see if the Iranian actions actually meet the Iranian words, and give a little bit of credit to the United States of America, which I think has been an incredible partner for the Israeli government for a long time.
In the best case, do you think that this deal changes how Hezbollah works?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think that there is this weird panic almost in the Israeli system that I've picked up on, where they assume that everything that is contemplated that is good for Iran will happen, but that will happen without the Iranians changing any behavior. And I just don't know why anybody would think that's true. That's not how the deal is written. The United States has all the financial leverage. Like the president of the United States or the secretary of the Treasury have to release all these sanctions. Do they actually think we're going to release sanctions on the Iranian, system if they're still funding a terrorist organization? The answer is, of course not. So I find this whole freak out in Israel a little bit odd, because I think that it comes from a place of mistrust. And I think that America has earned the trust of that region of the world.
I don't know about that. Right. Yeah. Again, it's that like transactional amnesia, basically, right? you just completely forget all the stuff that someone has like done for you, like previous. And as soon as like, you know, it's a new thing. Like, yes, I know you just lent me $100, but what about the other $100 that I want now?
We've done a very good job by that particular country and that particular government. And I think that the idea that we've made a terrible deal is not supported by the facts, but just doesn't make any sense if you consider the broad length of the relationship.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it seems like a common thing that people have with the moves, where there's a point where they go, is this what people have been talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like with X the way it is, it's going to be very hard to like ignore this, you know, right? Like everyone,
Dude, they got to do something about X.
they're going to be like, shit, maybe these people have a point, you know?
What I will say, and this does bother me, is that you've seen people within Bibi's cabinet who have come out and attacked the deal, and in some ways very personally attacked the president of the United States. And I guess my message to them would be twofold. Number one, Donald J. Trump is the only head of state in the entire world who is sympathetic to the nation of Israel at this moment in time.
Oof. I mean, that is absolutely true, right? So Vance is like, why are you attacking your last remaining ally?
And he happens to be the head of state of the world superpower. If I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government...
When he says last remaining ally, that is a rhetorically strong way of saying no one fucking likes you.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
Colloquially, that's what that means. In a very polite way.
I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world. And the second message I would give to some of those cabinet members, Bibi, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but to some of these cabinet members in Israel who are attacking the president of the United States, the other thing that I would say is that over the last 3 months, 2/3 of the defensive weapons that have protected your homeland have been built by American hands and paid for by American tax dollars.
Yes, but those American tax dollars were promised to us 3,000 years ago. So this is the point, right? Like the way they view shit makes them sort of impervious to kindness, because from their point of view, right? Like it's your duty.
Impervious. They don't understand it. They don't get it.
Yeah, that's my point.
It's transactional. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because like, you know, of course it is right that the American taxpayer pay for them, right? Like that's just assumed, right? Like of course they. So this is the big problem.
The problem for Israel is not Donald J. Trump. And anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the president of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in. Thank you all.
Very strong words there from Vance, right? If you think about the kind of rhetoric that was going around like 6 months ago, like this,
right?
You're right. Like, you know, again, being very, very diplomatic, but still being like, listen, you guys have got to like face reality. Like, what are you talking about? We don't have to face reality. We make reality.
And so I do think that sometimes, you know, advocates of Israel or pro-Israel people in the United States make two critical mistakes. One, on the one hand, is not delineating between America's interests and Israeli interests, because they're not always the same. But the second is always conflating criticism of a particular government with Jew hatred. Because if everything is Jew hatred, then nothing is Jew hatred. I actually think Jew hatred is very bad.
No, not what everyone's been thinking. No, not that.
Everything is Moo hatred if we say it is. Buddy, did he not get the memo? Goodness me.
Which is why I think we have to be very careful about not calling it's kind of like how progressives for 20 years
Pause
called
it real
everything
quick.
racist.
People are like afraid to say this at the dinner table, like in private, in some places. Okay, even though it's glaringly obvious. What happened?
This bit is amazing.
To be very careful about not calling it's kind of like how progressives for 20 years called everything racist.
Oh,
yeah, it's kind of like progressives. I wonder where the progressives got it from. He's really on the line right now. He is really close.
That is gonna sting. That is gonna sting, man.
And hold on. Do you see that on his head? That blue dot on his head? They pointed the koi beam at his forehead right now.
I thought that was a sniper scope.
Nothing is racism, and we have to be very careful not to, in order to serve a certain foreign policy objective, try to criticize somebody as anti-Semitic when they're just not.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. And I think that distinction is important.
Yeah, but actually, Oh, Foyds.
However, from my vantage point, it seems to me like the bigger problem is I don't know exactly how I would describe it in a way that would be charitable, but almost like Israel derangement syndrome, going beyond, okay, yeah, we don't like Israeli policies. We don't think that we should put the priorities of any country first. Completely agree with that. That's fine. But the obsession that some people have, I would say on the right.
Pause it. We cover this twice a week, okay?
Yeah.
In the amount of episodes, the amount of streams that we've had, okay? We had to have covered at least 40 conventions that they've had in less than a year. Okay?
Yeah.
It's persistent.
And this whole like you're literally fighting a fucking war in the Middle East, right? The world is about to run out of goddamn hydrocarbons. Why are people criticizing Israel? I was like, dude, just stop. Oh my God.
With blaming all of their problems on Israel, all of their disagreements with Trump,
all
on
of them.
Israeli influence. And I'm not saying all of those people hate every Jewish person, but it seems to get there really fast. I see that more prominently on the
Isn't that exactly what she just said? She just said all of the problems, and then she said, I'm not saying all of the problems. I was the one that was saying all just now because you had just said it. Oh my God.
Right? Then I see true Israel first kind of obsession that you seem to be describing.
So I see both, and I think both are bad. And, I'm probably particularly sensitive to the first thing because of the last 2 days I've been defending the president's decision to end the Iran deal. And I find often the arguments are, well, Israel doesn't think this is good, therefore it's bad. And my reaction is Israel's opinions matter, but fundamentally they are separate. But you're right.
See?
It's another show. Oh my God.
But that was letting them down easily when they were saying it that way.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there are certainly people who take every frustration with the Trump administration, every policy disagreement because of Israel. And that is absolutely wrong. And again, I think that is...
That's bullshit. It's not everything. It's just the goddamn war is the bloody problem. Oh, and, all those attempts to do an end run around the First Amendment, right? Which I understand you Americans have some attachment to,
Not getting off on a good foot if you're going after that one.
One of those things that can bleed into some very dark places.
Yeah.
So I think that it's upon us as leaders, as public commentators,
dark places.
to try to be very rational about this, to try to distinguish what is legitimate disagreement from ethnic hatred. And you just got to be careful about it. But I actually think both the Trump administration, but the right generally is in a place of figuring this stuff out. Any debate, every debate has excesses on either side, but that's part of the process of figuring this stuff out together.
We're just trying to figure it out, man.
That's not what we want to be hearing. Okay, so this is this is fucking crazy, right? So Trump's being asked about can they control the Israelis?
If it weren't for Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu worked well with me, but he will tell you we're the ones with the guns, we're the ones with the whole deal, we're the ones with the B-2 bombers, etc. If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
The relationship with Netanyahu's
it's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
What is happening? What happened?
Oh my God! You keep him a little bit sane. He has a tendency to go off. Imagine all of the shit that must have gone on behind the scenes that none of us fucking saw.
You see him on TV, but honestly, behind closed doors, he's a little bit of a pussy. He's still a good guy. A little bit of a pussy.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I mean, I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me, and they do as I say.
Right. So. Okay, so he's clearly he's not saying how he's going to control them, but he's they're working on it. I doubt it's about respect. And then immediately after this, as I said, the negotiations in Switzerland between the Americans and the Iranians got cancelled because Israel attacked Lebanon again. And And I just want to like finish off with this clip from Fuentes because it's quite a good one.
Yep.
Understand that the Jews have this mentality that the only way for them to survive is for them to be on top. And so anyone that wants them not to be on top doesn't want them to survive. And anyone that doesn't want them to survive has to be eradicated. That is the logical chain that they follow. I've seen Ben Shapiro say that if you don't want Israel to triumph, then you don't want Israel to exist. Because the only way for Israel to exist is for Israel to triumph against its enemies. And if Israel doesn't exist, then Jews will never be safe. Because if they don't have a country of their own, then they could always be oppressed and snuffed out as a minority in other countries. So if you don't want Israel to exist, then you want Jews to be eradicated. And if you want Jews to be eradicated, then you are their eternal enemy and everything is justified against you. You're an ontological adversary. And this is how they work out. If you support Palestinian statehood, you have to die.
So this is exactly the way like the radical like Troons think.
Yes.
The way like the radical blacks think. I think basically
we all know that the Moos got this from the trans people.
No, the trannies got this. The Troons got this from the Moos.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. The Moos were like very instrumental in setting, like GLAD, for example, was basically like the LDL, ADL.
I bet you they'll own up to it and be proud of it too.
I think this method of wielding political power has like leaked out all through the West because that's what happens, right? Like someone discovers like a formula that works and then like other people copy it. And before you know it, everyone has to start using the same weapons. And that's why they don't want whites to start, operating from the same playbook because they know it works and it's a numbers game.
If you don't think Israel has the right to nuke Iran, you have to die. If you think Iran can make a deal that might lead them to getting a nuclear weapon on some timeline, you have to die. Because it follows that if Israel doesn't win all its battles, then Israel can't survive. And if Israel can't survive, then Jews aren't safe. And if Jews aren't safe, then they're going to go. And if they're going to go, then you want them to be eradicated. This is how they think. And so this is why in America, if you are a mere critic of Israel, they want you to die. If you're out there saying Israel controls our government, which they clearly do, well, that might lead to Americans overthrowing our Israel-controlled government. And if Americans overthrow our Israel-controlled government, then Israel might not be safe. And if Israel's not safe, you see how that goes? So this is why they believe there's really no way anyone can ever acknowledge or critique Jewish power, because that interferes with the Jews' self-interest. They are either on top, they either have total primacy, total domination, keep all of their foes in check and powerless and disorganized, or else they're in competition. And if they're in competition, they might lose. And if they lose, then they're done. So this is where they have this mentality that anyone that stands in our way, we're going to eradicate in any way. Anyone that in any way stands in the way of their total domination, total victory is an ontological enemy, and anything is justified against them. That is Joe Lonsdale's mentality.
Yeah. Also, Remnant in the chat. Good to see you, Remnant.
Oh yeah, mate.
And I think that's basically
well. If you're gonna, yeah.
I got one more.
Shiites are the real Muslims. Never forget who fought for the Palestinians. Never forget who fought Israel for the whole world, for all Goyim. It was Iran. It was the Shiites. Supreme Leader, if you can hear me, thank you. Supreme Leader, if you can hear me, thank you. Thank you for taking on Israel for all the Goyim when no one else would. From a grateful planet, thank you, Supreme Leader. From a
we caught him saying it.
Oh, he was saying, look, he's secretly a Muslim immigrant. Oh my God, this is fucking hilarious.
Thank you for standing up to Israel on behalf of all Goyim. Those Sunni dogs would never.
Sunni dogs would never. Oh, fucking hilarious. Yeah, okay, right. So I'm done.
Hold on, let me just give this one Joe Lonsdale.
He unzips the Invasion of the Body Snatcher skin suit, and his true form emerges. And suddenly he says, "Oy vey, are you gonna be a coward? You have to dox this student. He's an enemy of the Jews. He's an anti-Semite. He's gonna destroy Israel." All of a sudden, Joe Lonsdale's not as white as the rest of us, is he?
Oh yeah, baby. See, that's where I like my Nick Fuentes, definitely.
Okay. Last super chats, and then let's get out of here.
Sure.
New GM for $10.
Oh, look at that, mate. Thank you, bruv.
Thank you. Please start the episode by asking if it is his real name.
No.
All joking aside, Oren is great. Thank you, mate. It's meant to be.
Dude, totally ruin that opportunity by making it a meme for us.
No, I don't think I will. Doomsday Machine became a member. Nice one.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Leningrad for $5. Help Tucker Carlson eat my missile. Master Shake for $5. 2 million Christians in Lebanon. The fact that there are 6 million people in Lebanon is not lost on us. Yeah, but right, have you considered? Right, they're not chosen people. So
gotta consider.
Yes, it's bloody awful. The shit that's fucking happened to Lebanon, right? Like, my God, like that country has just been like screwed every which way. And they're like, well, you know what the problem is? We haven't burned Lebanon to the ground yet. Like, fucking dude, come on. Leningrad for $5 again. Thank you.
Thank you, bruv.
Wait, is this a government official or are you reading voice lines from a chaos cultist in Dawn of War? It's hard to say, mate.
It's wild, dude.
Yeah. Theodore McCarthy for $5. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.
I can completely believe they didn't see this coming. If they could see obvious backlashes coming, the Second Temple would still exist.
Also, Theodore, very solid race-first arguments from the last stream. Very solid dude.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Jam for $10.
There he is, bro.
Hey, it's me, JD Vance. I actually just kissed the wall because I lost a bet, and Usha happened because I took the advice of the miscegenator. Worst mistake of my life. It's like the Ganges down there.
That's I did that to myself. I made my bed, and it smells like a jungle.
Yep. CSI, member for 7 months. Thank you, mate.
Oh yeah.
Another crystal for the collection. If you take anything from this segment, let it be this. # Fist was right.
Yep.
Well,
put another eye of Newt in the cauldron. Fist was right again.
I guess about this one thing, but thank you. And Molokai for 26.
Oh, sure.
We all love the Nick.
When he's doing his thing, baby. Yeah.
Yep. So that's it. Super Chat's achieved. So that's
very cool.
end.
Speaking of cool, I'm going to send you guys over to Cool Vic, and you can let him know. You can let him know your thoughts on race mixing. Oh my God, fellas! I did this to Rob Noor. I rated Rob Noor. We were talking about race mixing, of course, at the end, and I was like, dude, just go over and just say whatever you want about race mixing because I'm rating him, and I just think it's funny when people go in and say that. He was in the middle of talking about how he's getting sued. And people started going in and talking about race mixing. And it was not the time to fuck with him. It was not the time for it. He was like, what the hell is everyone fucking talking about right now? I'm talking about this fucking shitty lawsuit I'm going through. Anyway, I don't think Cool Vic's going through a lawsuit, so do it to him, no problem, okay?
Yep. We'll be back on next Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you so much to everyone who super chatted. Be nice. God bless you all that kind of like stuff. Final words, Ardy?
Don't race mix. Bye.
Bye.